On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister Kate, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcia brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights, the world will see Black Power Media on the screen. Facebook, YouTube, all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Ancestral line.
Tonight, we are cutting through the noise, the narratives, and political theater to focus on what actually matters. New information from the Epstein files released is raising serious national questions, and we're going to examine the facts, not the spin. Well, also, this groundbreaking conversation about Black American history, because understanding lineage is essential to understanding policy. We're taking a hard look at a recent Zoom meeting involving individuals of a Haitian heritage and government officials. Growing concerns that immigrants and illegal migrants are being prioritized over foundational Black Americans and other citizens. And emerging reports of government fraud across the country. Finally, we confront one of the most important policy debates of our time. Lineage-based reparations. This is about accountability. This is about clarity. And this is about protecting a legacy that must not be erased. This is Thorough Black Talk, and I hope you all are ready to get heavy into it tonight. As we wait for our other guests to get in here, I want to give a couple of shout outs real quick to our usual suspects up in here real quick. How's everybody doing? Waiting for Sister Marcia to get ready. Brother Black will be joining us very shortly as well. But we have definitely a lot to discuss. But let me give some shout outs to the crew real quick. Sister Aruba 927, happy Thursday to you, sis. Hope all is well with you and yours on your home front. Peace to our brother Rich Nice. What's happening, family? How are you on the West Coast doing a damn thing? Sister Tanisha, one of our great sponsors of Thorough Black Talk. Let's give her a round of applause every time she comes up on the stage. You too could be a regular sponsor of Thorough Black Talk any and every time. Peace to our sister, Queen Phoenix. What's happening? Hope everything is well with you. And the troublemaker herself, all the way from Alabama, Sister Farnessa. What's happening, sis? You know, Sister Farnessa, she don't play with people. She like Brooke. She don't give y'all no breaks. She don't give y'all no damn breaks. But I love it. I love it. I love it. Sister Joyce, Brother Monty, Suffolk County, what's happening? We're going to get our brother Blacksmith in here real quick. Dr. Filet up on the check-in. Finance, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Got to give her a shout out, a shout out, a shout out. Always, always, always. So we got a lot to discuss. Mr. Washington, good evening to you, brother. Good evening, good evening, good evening to you. Hope I didn't miss anybody. If I did, blame it on the eyesight. Blame it on the eyesight, you know. Blame it on the eyesight. So I know you've been hearing my brother Black, you know, talking about various things. And, you know, we had release of these Epstein files. And one of the things that Brother Black talks about is some of the people you may see in front of you may not actually be who they are. So I'm gonna get my brother on board Brooklyn Bridge, and then we'll reveal that. Sorry about that. Brother Black, you ready? By the way of the Bronx, up on the Brooklyn Bridge, Brother Blacksmith, what's up?
What's up, Sister Keisha? Can you hear me? 1 2
Loud
1 2.
clear,
Mic check. Mic check. Coming live and direct. The boogie down is live.
Thank you, got for us, brother. But before you tell us what you got for us, brother, I gotta prove you right. Okay. I gotta prove you right. Any Epstein files, you know, Brother Black talks about this several times. He did. And they're talking about what you're seeing on the screen. The correspondence are hidden. Who is writing who? It is blacked out. But it says maritime law is coming, and it is selling and owning of humans and human souls is over. There is factual evidence on the methods of operation for how law and legal proceedings will work next. I do encourage you to watch a video and understand how common law is going away. So, and that part is blacked out, quite fiddling your whatever, I ain't saying that word, and call blacked out, who has much information that will incriminate you. That when he deletes it, we'll find it in the quantum system. That is a great gentleman. He has made very clear in the video above. Of course, we don't have access to that. It says, Biden is not your current president. The mass malfunctions on Biden are getting worse each day on purpose. This will end badly for, is blacked out, who is posing as a effing clone on Facebook. The dude playing Biden ain't Biden. The real Biden is an evil, sick, angry man who abused children, including his own children. This is an actor with an effing mask on. We've been over this 1,000 times. It's never going to change. Biden is shot 2019 by firing squad. Now, I know y'all heard our brother Black talk about that, so we're going to give our brother a round of applause. So go ahead, Brother Black. Give us what you got for us today, brother. Or if you want to comment on this.
I can start with that and then, you know, try to move around a little bit. There's so much going on. So, again, like you just said, Sister Keisha, the guy, I don't remember his name right now. It's Joe. It wasn't Joe. I don't remember his name. Something, older white guy. He's a B actor, and he's from the Bronx, too. He was playing Biden. If you give me a second, I can look up the name, and just so y'all know who I'm talking about. Anyway, like I've been telling y'all, a lot of the people we've been seeing that we think are alive, and I said this on the show, and this is when you started pushing back on me when you was making me say allegedly, or you know, where my sources, and then I started sending you the stuff so you wouldn't have no problem with me saying what I'm saying, whether it's true or not. I'm not
right.
in these
We
places.
still gonna say allegedly though. We still going to say that
for
word,
sure.
allegedly. Thank you. Go
And
ahead.
I appreciated that. It wasn't a problem. But you know what I was saying is that a lot of the people we see, case in point, which you just read, and I ain't said it. I ain't said it in a while because most black people don't get, oh, he full of stuff and you know, whatever. I don't get into that anymore. A lot of them been gone, like my sister Queen Phoenix said, and a lot of them that we think is gone is still here. And I've said that on the show as well, including Michael Jackson, JFK Jr., and Princess Diana. I've been saying that for years. I stopped saying it because, where they at? When they gonna come out? Everything's coming out now. The Epstein files, you even have said as much, Sister Keisha, when I said certain stuff. I'm waiting on them
They don't
Epstein
stop.
files.
That's right.
Trump is he's implicated in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Whether it's true or not, I wasn't there. I don't speak to the veracity of hearsay. I speak to what's out there for you to find, and whether you believe it or not, or whether it gets to court or not, or whatever. We heard all this overwhelming uh, evidence of what was going on at Diddy parties, and all he got charged for was basically a Mann Act charges, which are small crimes. And there were even people saying he was going to get off when the trial was over because he already had served a year at that point, or just about. So with that said, what I'm saying is I believe everything that's dovetailing along with this, including black celebrity gossip, whether it's Anton and Corey, whether it's Brittany Renner and Kevin Gates, or whatever rumors circulating through what they used to call Black Twitter. Now they call it black celebrity gossip or whatever. It has dovetailing in this time. And I've said this numerous times on this show, and y'all can go back and check them out if you want to, along with all of the celestial and cosmic activity that's happening now. These solar flares have been lately M's and X's, and those are the 2 and 2s, they 5s and 4s and stuff like that. So if you know anything about solar flares, or you don't know about that, you need to go research that. I write about it all the time. I talk about it on the show. I kind of stopped because it kind of, went down, but now it's increasing like a mug. Not only that, we have the Schumann resonance, and that's popping off again. And if you need to write these things down and look it up after the show, or while right after I finish my little rant here, you can do so and then see what I'm talking about, because a lot of this stuff is heavy science, and it took me a while to get some of it. So it's not an easy thing to understand if you're just hearing me saying it and you like dismiss it. If you really want to know about this stuff, you got to look into it. A great guy to look into is Stephen Burns. I put him on my last blog. Sister Keisha, I posted.
You can, for those who want to know, in the description beneath, so I should say, the description of the show, you can get access to Brother Black's blog. You can get access to Sister Marcia's African on the Rise link tree. You can get access to Sister Brooks' YouTube page, and you can get access to Brother Divine and Brother Tad's pages as well. Go ahead, brother.
Right. Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. And so, for those of you who don't know what these things is about, like I said, you can always go on my pages. You can friend me on Facebook. My name on Facebook, even though I go by Blacksmith on this show and everywhere else, my Facebook name is Basil, Basil Medina, Medina, like the nickname they used to call Brooklyn back in the 5% days. So, I'm still Brooklyn thorough, baby, even though I'm from the Bronx. You heard? And everything is happening. I saw something yesterday or the day before that said that the EBS, I said this already on the show a few weeks ago, but that EBS and the quantum financial system, which is the reset for the good guys, not the great reset that Biden and all them other people was talking about 3-4 years ago, is all ready. And all of the things that's happening counter to that is keeping it from actually going live. I believe it's going to happen soon, and that was the reason why we had all these crazy storms 2 and 3 weeks ago. All these winds, and y'all about to get another polar vortex. From what I understand, it's still brick cold up there, and that's unusual for New York. Usually, You might have a week or a week and a half of cold, warm up eventually, then it get cold again, then it warm up. Then for it to stay super cold for like over a month is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Even I haven't been in New York in a while. I know the weather patterns because I'm from there and I was raised there. So, you know, y'all hold it down in the Northeast because you're going to get another one and it's going to be popping. So those are some of the distractions, and they're going to keep happening until everything else happens. I hope y'all are at least in an environment that you can withstand in and make it through and just see it. Because once we get on the other side of this, where everybody get their bread, and FBA will get their reparations. You know what I'm saying? There will be reparations for everybody who has suffered in one way or another, including targeted individuals. I've confided in my sister and other people that I feel real close to about some of the things I'm going through. I don't really talk about them too much anymore because it requires, you know, knowing me more than just seeing me on this show and stuff like that. But I'm still going through it like a mug. And, you know, I'm just maintaining and just trying to see it through so that I can see the next day and live in heaven on earth as it's supposed to be. With that said, Sister Keisha, if you got any questions or anybody else want to throw something at me, I'm here. And let's go with the show.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And again, you can get access to his blog beneath the description on our YouTube and Facebook pages. Let me give some more quick shout outs, and then we'll bring my sister Marcia up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Brother Tad is running a little late. And of course, we'll have Sister Brooke and Brother Devon join us in a few. Shout out to Sweet Butters. Sweet Butters, how are you? Thanks for rocking out with us on the Brooklyn Bridge. We definitely appreciate you. Uncle Jess, Aunt Marie, Brownsville Finest in the building. What's happening, fam? What's happening? Man, we was up to 2 something in the morning Friday looking through these Epstein files, the family. I'm telling you, all you got to do is put a name in there, baby. And stuff is popping up. Shout out to Brother Ray and the BK Mackey History Club. What's up? Sister Marie, Be More Family in the building. What's happening? We got our brother, All Viral Access Media. What up, bro? Nice to see you rocking out with us. Brother Kev, North Kakalaki in the building, South Kakalaki in the building. What's happening? And of course, we got our brother Harlem in the building. Brother Melrose Radio. What's up, family? What's up? Glad you rocking out with us as well. Like I said, we got a lot to get into. We got history to go into. I mean, it's going to be hot tonight. Sister Marcia, you ready?
Hey, Sister Keisha. But one more thing I wanted to add. As many of those files, they said it's 3 million files. They said they've only released half of it. So that's 3 million more on deck. Imagine that.
I'm going to tell you one thing. I'll say one thing. Even if you had no connection with this man, he kept data on just about everybody. But we're going to go through some of those things tonight as well. Sister Marcia, welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening, sis? How are you?
Peace, family. Hi, everyone on the bridge. Everyone in the chat. Brother Black, Sister Keisha, how are you today?
Where my black tastic at before you talk, wing gal?
Anyway, you see the wings. You get the black. It's too cold for all of that. You're bothering me.
We about to get this cold spell again, sis, right? Starting tonight, I believe.
It's brutal.
It's back to hoodie weather.
I'm feeling like all my bones are aching. I need some shots everywhere. But anyway, I'm gonna turn back to 12 in a second, because when is the Nanu's coming so I could be 12 again and not feel this in my bones?
Well, we on the earth right now, so I'm gonna tell you a biggie line: how to tote a gun and have fun with Jamaican rum. That's where you get your shots from. Jamaican rum.
I don't want that type of shot. It ends up with belly pains, so that defeats the purpose.
I
ain't tell you to get drunk. I just told you have a shot or two.
Everybody, listening purposes. You know, when we play the new Black FBA national anthem, the music I get is produced by All Viral Access Media, They are also one of the media outlets that I recommended for New York Reparations media contacts. They haven't reached out to them yet, but I keep putting the pressure on because I think that he and Doggy Diamonds would be a great fit to cover the gamut on reaching the masses of the people. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yeah, Sister Marie out in Beemore, she agrees with you, Marcia. She says this cold is no joke. It's crazy. They just picked up garbage. I see they having problems in Philly with the garbage pickup as well. I mean, if you having pickup problems with garbage in your city, let us know. Because this is crazy. They just picked up mine today. That's been out there for what, 9 days?
Oh, I can gladly say they have not done that in Southeast Queens. They've picked up the garbage, but I did still put in a complaint because they didn't shovel out the walkways. So like Jaquan wasn't able to go outside and stuff like that. So it's really difficult to navigate, or even if you do go outside, it's just a headache. Last week, I have stories to tell, but anyway, we made it through alive and we're happy.
I hear that. Let's get into it, family. Let's get into it. I don't know if you all have seen this video by the Maverick Approach as it relates to ASAP Rocky. Let's play this clip and we'll come right back.
The ASAP Rocky's latest interview with Joe Budden talking about Rick Owens and how dark and
been waiting to talk about this.
Devil imagery and whatnot. And I was like, hold up, bro, isn't this you? And I show a picture of him inside of a pentagram with him and his boys doing a ritual.
I mean, you got to think of it like this. I don't know if y'all seen the What's Up video by ASAP. He literally did a ritual. Or inside of a pentagram. He had the book.
Why did the man
in his hand.
Why did he stop dropping an album?
Why did he stop dropping
albums? He said every time he dropped the album, somebody in his family died. The last album he dropped, his sister died. Before that was his mama.
And then before that, then
They say that's why he stopped dropping album. Why is that happening?
And then his boy in the video, in the Peso video, had an Aleister Crowley shirt on.
Yes.
And Aleister Crowley is the most sickest.
Aleister Crowley is one of the biggest Satanists of all time.
I don't get why he acts like he wasn't doing that. Like you weren't on that. You were saying, yeah, I don't think she ain't did no dark shit around me. Nigga, you did the dark shit.
You literally did it.
That's crazy because if you think about all these humiliation rituals, and if you think about that, or they have to do something else to where they have to sacrifice, it's one of the two. Aleister Crowley, his apprentice was L. Ron Hubbard. They used to do rituals in Pasadena.
These dudes used to ejaculate on the paper before they would write their notes on. That's fact. That's why y'all see me handling people a certain way, because I've been knowing about a lot of things for a minute.
No, that's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So like when I be seeing certain people, I'm like, yeah, bitch ass nigga, I know what you did.
Well, that's what Diddy was doing. He was doing sex magic. It wasn't just the sexual deviancy.
No,
it was sexual magic.
That's
because sexual magic, like it's energy, right? So it's the same thing. So when you release, that's energy, and you can manifest. It's called sex magic.
And that's why the children have to get violated, because you have to remove that innocence from them in exchange for whatever these beings is for them to do your bidding.
Yeah, child sacrifices have been all through history.
Stop using this evil magic, because when they come calling for you to drop them draws, it's gonna get bad. It's not worth it. Every dude I seen sacrifice his manhood, ended up crashing out. Look at Lil Nas. Lil Nas, last time we seen him, he was running down Skid Row naked.
Right.
Dude from Empire too. He completely crashed out.
Same thing with Bashir Gray.
Yeah.
Getting violated. Yeah, all this stuff is very real. It gets crazy. It is a pentagram, right?
Brother, not say, oh, I don't know anything about her doing no dark magic. And bro, explain that.
Yeah, you gotta explain it.
Explain that.
You standing there with a book of spells.
Bro.
Over the pentagram.
Your boy got an Aleister Crowley shirt on. That's the thing about these celebrities. They think it's still back in time. Like they still think it's a few years ago. Like there's a new climate now. Like
yeah, we
the people don't want to. We want the real now.
For sure.
Shout out to the Maverick Approach. Please follow them on all social media platforms. Anybody got any ideas before I go in on this and move on to these Epstein files?
I just want to tell the people out there who don't know who I am or who are new to the show, I wrote about that years ago. Sister Keisha has the book. She's read it. She's already, given it, its credence. I researched that long ago. So if y'all want it, get at me and let's make some business and let's make it happen. That's all I got to say, sis.
Protect the children.
Yes,
That's all I can say. Protect the children, reinforce them. We won wars because children were protected. They were a part, they were included, not used as tools as these deviants are doing. We have to put more onus on what children are here for. That's it.
agreed. It's a lot. But talking about these Epstein files, as Black said, there are millions of them. It's a lot to go through. My advice, if you're going to search the files, the best way to find something is to put in a business or a person's name that you want to find information on. Because if you go through page by page, you'll be here to Christmas 2029. That's how long it is. So just put somebody's name in, and then you'll be able to find some information. So what I was able to find, and this is not the email, but what I was able to find is with Hakeem Jeffries, right? There were parties that people wrote to Jeffrey Epstein to attend, to join them at a fundraiser. One of them was an old school hip hop party back in 2014, which I found very, very interesting as far as the guest list is concerned. Tamika Mallory was there as well at that old school hip hop fundraiser party, in which Jeffrey Epstein was invited to. This particular email is from Lisa Rossi, talking about Hakeem Jeffries being a rising star in the Democratic Party. This email is dated May 7th, 2013, to Jeffrey. It says, "Dear Jeffrey, we are thrilled to announce that we are working with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, one of the rising stars in New York congressional delegation, sometimes referred to as the Brooklyn Barack. He is a staunch supporter of President Obama and a progressive voice for the people of New York City. New York One did a profile piece about his work on the vitally important budget and judiciary committees in Washington. You can watch the video here. Hakeem is committed to electing a Democratic Party majority in 2014, and he is encouraging his friends to participate in the DCC and the DSCC fundraising dinner with President Obama this coming Monday night. Shoot us an email or give us a call if you would like to get involved with the dinner or would like to get an opportunity to get to know Hakeem better. He is an impressive guy who will be a progressive voice in New York politics for some years to come." Now, remind you, this is back in 2013. Now, I don't know who Lisa Rossi is. Could have been a part of his campaign. I don't know. But you can see she is inviting Epstein to this gathering. Hakeem Jeffries is only about 4 months into his freshman year in Congress, but he's already positioning himself as a long career in Washington, or having a long career in Washington. New York One's Michael Scotto filed the following report. "If you're looking to knock Hakeem Jeffries off message, you won't get very far. There's a hip hop song, Every Day I'm Hustling, and I kind of feel the way down here in Washington," Jeffrey said, in a positive manner, of course. The freshman congressman from Brooklyn and a sliver of Queens is an ambitious workhorse who always appears to have his eyes on the prize. "I will be shuffling back and forth between budget and judiciary for a better part of the morning, making sure we time in correctly so that I am able to ask questions about both situations," he said. He's a big change from Congressman Ed Towns, who retired after holding the seat for 30 years. On any given day, Jeffries is traveling through the Capitol, attending hearings on the Judiciary and Budget Committees, two of the most prominent in lower chambers. For Jeffries, those two assignments allow him to serve in a counterweight to the Republican leadership and to talk with the president, whom he and his district overwhelmingly support. My job, I believe, is to help the administration of Barack Obama help us back at home, he said. In his first 4 months, Jeffries has championed himself as a progressive, introducing legislation to help student loan recipients, blase, 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 blase. But as you can see, this is an invite for him to join them at a particular gathering. Here you have this whomever is writing on behalf of Darren Rigger to Jeffrey. Dear Jeffrey, I know I've emailed you before about Congresswoman Kathy Hochul. She wasn't even the governor then. She was still in Congress in 2012. Kathy is doing great. Every poll has her tied. President Bill Clinton is going to an event in the district on Friday. Now we just have to close strong. Tonight is the first live debate between Kathy Hochul and GOP challenger and Tea Party favorite Chris Collins. This is a great chance to see Kathy in action. The debate will be at 7 p.m. Blase, blase, blase. All I'm saying is, all of these campaigns were reaching out to this man. You have this Bob Crow writing Jeffrey back in 2016, waiting to hear back from congressional delegates. I'm having dinner tonight with Jim Clyburn, assistant Democratic leader in the House and prominent member of the Black Caucus. So, dear Bobs, blase, blase, this shows that, number one, these parties, when you see these candidates, they don't spring out of nowhere, right? Even, these new socialist candidates, they just don't spring up out of anywhere. They are sought after, they are groomed in their political parties, and they have a lot of money and a lot of power behind them. So when I hear people say, oh, we just need to run and get into office, you're dealing with a criminal operation. This is a mob-style operation. And so when people say things like that or willy-nilly, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You never threw your hat in the ring for nothing, and you don't know what you're talking about. So, any questions from the panel about some of those emails or what have you?
Did you look up Eric Adams?
Absolutely.
Can you give us a short
run-by? The same lines. I don't see any correspondence so far with him now, indirect. If someone else wrote on his behalf, again, it's a lot. It's a lot that you have to go through. So
that's the same thing they were saying about Barack. His name wasn't directly mentioned, but that doesn't mean that he wasn't playing the game. And this is a play for money. Epstein was floating around lots of money to people in order to get what he wanted and succeeded, and he knew their bottom line Pizzagate secrets as well. So it becomes a interesting way of securing himself, right? At the end of the day, he attempted to secure himself by maintaining logs of every type of conversation, whether it was outgoing or incoming, to secure himself whenever they came after him, and they still did. But that just means it's someone even higher than those people in these conversations that we have logs of.
It's bigger than that, Sister Marcia. This is how it works, okay?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to show you how it works. Epstein allegedly worked for the Mossad. The Mossad's intention is Israel intelligence, of course, like our CIA. That it would be the equivalent of what the Mossad is to the CIA to the United States. And what they do is they make sure everybody's blackmailed or bribed, so that if you tell on what you know because of who you are, or maybe you get caught in something, and so you start telling on other people, then they just release files revealing you as a pedophile. Because in order to climb up to the top ranks, you have to torture a child, rape the child.
Essay. Say essay, brother.
Oh, okay.
You gotta use social media friendly language. I'm just telling you that.
Okay, I got you. My bad. I'm just trying to keep it 100.
Go ahead.
I'm done.
Yeah, we got to just be careful with various languages or wordings on these social media platforms, because like you said, First Amendment free speech is gatekept in these spaces. So we have to be very careful with how we use certain words. And I'm just not saying it for here. I'm telling you for future reference. Yeah. And then I will share with you later a free apparatus for you to get legal advice from. Okay. Because I think that's very, very important, at least with all of us anyway, in how we move right in these spaces. So today, I don't know if any of you've heard, but at first, Governor Kathy Hochul here in New York, she chose a running mate, Miss Adams from the city council. But I'll tell
there goes that name again. Can I say that?
Yeah, but it's a female. But yeah. So anyway, that was her choice in the city council. Now, Sister Marcia, I don't know if you heard what happened earlier, late this morning.
Yep.
They said they ain't endorsing Kathy Hochul because of her choice as a running mate. She chose Miss Adams, who, from my understanding, is a Black American, and they ain't feeling that. And if you remember last week, I talked about the Office of the New American and how they are progressive and how they are moving. And the Democratic Party wants this immigrant and illegal migrant vote. So Pashad, whatever her name is outraged.
How about Biatch?
Outraged that they tapped Adrienne Adams as her number 2. It says the Democratic Party has rescinded its endorsement of Governor Kathy Hochul, enraged by the governor's selection of former New York City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams to be her running mate. It's shocking and baffling move by Brooklyn Dems leader Rodney's Bishop Hermelin, who leads the biggest county party organization in the state and has previously had friendly relationships with the governor. Bishop held an emergency call noon Wednesday about the 25th district leaders after hearing rumors that Hochul chose Adams, a Southeast Queens native who led the council for 4 years. Members of the party executive committee agreed to withdraw the endorsement of Hochul's re-election just 2 days before the state Democratic Party nominating convention in Syracuse. There was no longer a majority of votes from Brooklyn State Committee members, district leaders in the executive committee to support the governor's re-election, according to a statement from the Brooklyn Dems released Wednesday afternoon. This is a response to the political miscalculation on the part of the governor's campaign and their failure to engage or consult Brooklyn Democratic leaders to represent New York's largest Democratic delegation. Major statewide political decisions require meaningful collaborations with the party leaders and elected officials who organize, mobilize, and deliver victories. Now, last week, I don't know if y'all remember, but I said there was a virtual town hall meeting that took place, and she was on that call. I'm going to play some video from that clip from that meeting because this is problematic. This is problematic, and thank you, Sister Pat, for sending me this article earlier today or this morning. Thank you for sending that to me. But, over the past few years, my level of anger has risen. I have vitriol and hate right now in my heart because I know what is happening and I see the erasure of Black Americans in every aspect of life. And this is a huge problem, and no one is stepping up on our behalf. And let me repeat myself, every immigrant group is a part of that erasure, is a part of that problem. And I'm going to play this clip, and I want y'all to hear because, matter of fact, I may need to speed it up because I ain't got time to be listening to her all day. So hold on, let me see. Let's play.
The well-being of God's people. We truly appreciate your.
Now, this is Yvette Clarke, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke. And I want you to remember her because we're going to go through some history of her mother after we play these clips. But she's going to bring in Hakeem Jeffries. And this is a Zoom call of about 200 people. Majority of whom, 99% of them, is from the Haitian community. And I want you to hear how they are talking about attaining tangibles for illegals. But none of these cocksuckers talk about tangibles for Black American citizens or any other citizen for that matter. Hold on.
Participation this evening and certainly your leadership, Pastor Mallory. I also wish to acknowledge my colleagues from the New York area who are on our call. We know that Councilmember Mercedes Narcisse is participating, Councilmember Farrah Lewis, Councilmember Rita Joseph, my council member, and Assemblywoman Rodneyce Bichat Ermelin. I'd like to thank all of the representatives from our community organizations and city agencies who are here to share vital information with each and every one of you this evening. Unfortunately, we are gathered tonight to confront the anti-immigrant policies and the reign of fear that the Trump administration is unleashing on communities across the country. And right now, we know that this cannot stand. And so this evening, we are providing for each and every one here gathered an opportunity to hear from our experts and to make sure that we continue to undergird, support, and make sure that our community is well taken care of. I have been very vocal in Washington, D.C. about the need to maintain temporary protected status. The Haiti Caucus has been out front and very vocal about the ways in which this administration has viciously gone about attacking our communities. We need everyone on this call this evening to fall into formation, to understand their rights, to utilize their power, to shepherd our people through what will be certainly a very challenging time, a very fearful time, but a very triumphant time. When we come together in unity, as Pastor Mallory has stated in the past, we've always won. And nothing changes that equation today because we are here together to make sure we navigate our communities through what will be a very challenging time for us. So having said all of that, it's again my honor, my privilege to be in partnership with our community-based organizations represented, with of course, my very dear colleague, very dear friend, my leader in Washington, D.C., the leader of the Democratic Caucus, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries. With that, Pastor, I yield back, as we say in Washington, D.C.
Thank you very much for your kind remarks. I would like to introduce my dear friend, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, a Paragon leader who represents the diverse 8th Congressional District of New York and is serving his 7th term in the United States Congress. Representative Jeffries is a Democratic leader, having been elected to that position by his colleagues in November 2022. In that capacity, he is the highest ranking Democrat in the House of Representatives. He is also the former chair of the Democratic Caucus, the whip of the Congressional Black Caucus, and previously co-chaired the Democratic Policy and Communications Committee, where he helped develop the For the People agenda. In Congress, Leader Jeffries is a tireless advocate for social and economic justice. He has worked hard to help residents recover from the devastation of COVID-19 pandemic, reformed our criminal justice system, improved the economy for everyday Americans, and protected our healthcare from the right-wing attacks. Representative Jeffries was born in Brooklyn Hospital, where he is raised in Crown Heights and is the product of the New York City public school system. Having graduated from Midwood High School, he lives in Prospect Heights with his family. And it's an honor to introduce you, Democratic leader, Congressman Jeffries.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Pastor Mallory. So appreciative of you, your amazing and tremendous leadership, friendship, and partnership throughout the years, all of the advocacy that you have provided on behalf of the Haitian American community here at home, and of course, the Haitian people in Haiti, and the bonds that continue to exist between our community and the people of that great country. I'm certainly also appreciative of my friend and colleague, the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. Some people call her the Honorable Yvette D. Clarke. I call her Her Excellency because we're so thankful for all of the incredible work that she's done. And we know that Yvette Clarke has been a long-time champion of Haiti, the Haitian people, and the Haitian American community at home. And here in the 8th Congressional District and the 9th Congressional District, as Pastor Mallory knows, we're proud collectively, Yvette and I, to represent one of the largest communities of Haitian Americans of the diaspora outside of Haiti, and continue to look forward to partnering as we navigate through these very challenging times. I'm thankful for all of the incredible community-based organizations that have partnered with us on this critically important town hall meeting and discussion and presentation, because we know that this administration and these Republicans have unleashed an unprecedented assault on immigrant communities here at home and all across the country, and that the Haitian community in particular, with the pending expiration of TPS, is facing some daunting challenges ahead. Congresswoman Clarke, myself, and others partnering with lawyers and advocates across the country are going to continue to do everything that we can to get this TPS decision reversed. And as we do that, of course, we also have to make sure that we're preparing for any eventuality that might unfold, while steadfastly leaning in to both the legislative strategy, the appropriation strategy, and the litigation strategy to get this situation with respect to TPS turned around and continue. We know.
Now, somebody explain to me, what the hell does temporary mean? What does the word temporary mean? Put it in the chat.
Just what it says.
In the panel. What does the word temporary mean?
Just what it says. And when just what it says, you're here for a moment. And when family members, from my understanding, like I don't know all of the immigrant laws and everything like that, but from my understanding, there are 2 types of temporary status. One that your family members apply for you from, and that's where you come in. And I believe a majority of people that came into the U.S. from 2022 to 2024 were under the legalities of whoever petitioned for them. That was their temporary status for maybe 3 or 4 years. Anything before that or after that, I am not completely sure of, but I am specifically sure of the TPS from 2022 to 2024, 2025 maybe, I don't remember. But from those years before Biden got kicked out of office, those years of TPS, they were here under people vouching for them. So they're not supposedly, they're not supposed to be on whatever aid of the state that they reside on. They're supposed to be on the aid of their family member who recruited them into this country. That's what I know. But they are here on a temporary basis, meaning 3 to 6 years, and then you get out. No more than that. But you go bye-bye, you settle your affairs and do that. And if you want to go further, you have to apply independently to go further. That's what I know.
Right. Temporary, short term, gotta go. It's done. But again, you have these two congresspersons who are trying to extend it as a breach of law by using the office of the New American, which isn't policy, it is activism. They're trying to make it policy. And this is a problem. Let me get my sister Brooke up on the Brooklyn Bridge. Brooke, you ready? Because we're going to go into the other part of this call where Bashat, who we read about, that's pissed off with Kathy Hochul for not choosing someone of their community as a running mate. We're going to hear the disrespectful nature of which he is advocating for. Sister Brooke, welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge. Sis, how are you?
I'm good. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hi, Sister Marcia. Hi, Brother Black.
Peace, my lady.
I know you feel vindicated, right, with that the Epstein files, Brother Black, because I can only imagine some of the pushback that you received. And hello to my OG sis, Keisha. Oh boy. Okay.
That's a lot. So I know you've been taking notes behind the scenes.
Yes, absolutely. This isn't a surprise to me, especially from Yvette Clarke, because she said this openly, that she was concerned about these people being sent home, or just not even just the Haitians and the TPS, just in general, illegals in general, being sent home because it would affect her district and how many people vote for her. So she said this already. So that doesn't surprise me one iota. Hakeem Jeffries, it just goes to show how deep, because if you put that together with what you just explained from the Epstein files, it just goes to show how deep the erasure goes. Everybody is in on it. From I've heard you say that that you feel that Epstein was a double agent for I think Brother Black called it the Mossad.
I think he was working for Mossad and the U.S. at the same time. Go ahead.
Exactly. So, and it shows that for them to be putting Hakeem in place the way he did, and don't forget who Hakeem Jeffries is, whose nephew he is, because I don't never forget. Okay. If you look at all of that together, right, it is just obvious that everybody, and I mean everybody, is in on our erasure. Like, that is the plan, from the get-go, from the jump, from Israel to the US. And that is also, we also know this to be true. Like, that's not even my opinion, because Israel said it. Well, I can't remember what forum that was, but even they said that the biggest problem is Black Americans. They didn't say Black melanated people globally. They didn't say, Africans. They didn't say, any of that. They didn't say even Black Jews or, Black ooze. They didn't say any of that. They said the biggest problem that they have are Black Americans. So I just want to,
in particular, Sister Brooke, in particular, Black American youth.
Yes, absolutely. You are right. They did say Black American youth. Thank you for that correction. So, we see that this is the issue here, because if you're fighting for all of these people to stay, that's what it is. You're fighting for our erasure. And as you can see, and I'm not with Adrian Adams. I question, and I have been very public about this question. I question
all of them.
Right. Why would she take this whatchamacallit, in the first place. Kathy Holcomb has proven through legislation and her speech to be extremely anti-Black and extremely anti-Black American when it comes to the legislation. You know, she hasn't talked about it specifically when it comes to her speech. But when it comes, because she's talked about how Black kids in the Bronx don't know how to use this, and you know, she got on the pulpit at CCC and talked about medical injections. I had to think about how to say that. She talked about medical injections and how the congregation of Christian Cultural Center needed to be the what do you call it when you go out and preach the gospel? Missionaries. For you need to be missionaries for the injection. Okay. And so we already, you see the anti-Black, you know, rhetoric that she has. Then we know for a fact that she knew that the reparations bill that they have currently is unconstitutional. And we know she knew because President Devine had, and the rest of the U.S. Freedmen Project had a meeting with her legislative team, with her legal team. So she knew, and she signed it into law anyway. We know that Kathy Holcomb is 100% on board with expanding convict leasing, because on convict leasing is already happening, but they only make things for the city and the state. So she wants to expand it to private companies. But then she sat up there and signed that bill, you know what I'm saying, expunging your record. So we see Kathy Holcomb's anti-Black, Viola Swamp's anti-Black heart. She has worn it on her sleeve. So why would Adrienne Adams sit there and go be her running mate, knowing all of these things? Why? So you could be her Black mascot? Because that's the only reason she picked your Black behind in the first place, is because she needs somebody to help her with the Black vote, because she know that after that Bronx stuff, everybody saw it after the Bronx stuff. After she said, you know, the kids in the Bronx don't know how to use tablets. So why would she take this appointment? And so I asked her that question on Twitter. She has yet to respond to me. I'm not shocked, but she has yet to respond to me. So, you know, they're all suspect. And then the Democrats refused to endorse her, but Mondami did. And we see that Mondami, I feel like I tried to tell you. I took 6 hours to break down the fact that you don't know this man, you don't know what he's about, and all of the things. But he had the immigrants feeling like he was one of them. You know what I mean? And so now look at you. We didn't have trash on the ground for how long? The rats is going crazy. You know what I'm saying? At least Eric Adams was trying to get rid of the rats. Now the rats out here going crazy. You know what I mean? And the snow is on the ground. People getting hurt. All types of things. You know what I mean? Sister Martia's sweet Dwayquan couldn't even leave the house. Other people with, you know what I'm saying, elderly people are having problems leaving the house. Come on. We see. And I question, you know, just for Mondami, do they, you know, how do they value sanitation in India?
Okay.
That explains why.
Do you see India or Uganda? Because let's be honest.
That is why I'm asking the question. Now we see why. Yes, I covered it for 6 hours. So, but I'm well aware, and this is why I'm saying, no wonder he does not care about sanitation here, because he comes from places. Because first of all, he's a man without a country, because he wasn't born in India. Mm-hmm. He was born in Uganda, but you can't really say he got kicked out of Uganda. So he's a man without a country. He's a man without a home. But he's coming here to home.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Can I say something real quick, Sister Brooke? What I call him is a South Asian African American Indian.
Yo, listen.
This thing Europeans to cover the whole what they call it, continents.
I like New York and Arnie. I like Arnie's shout out fam. Her endorsement of Adams is her cover. She is the break glass black friend. Because whether people want to acknowledge it or not, everybody's watching us. And everybody see what this delineation movement is about. And so she tried to save face by choosing Adrian Adams as if that's going to work. And now you have Delgado, her former lieutenant governor, who did the same and chose a black woman from Buffalo to run as his running mate. But let me make it clear. We are done.
Done.
You know, and if the Republican Party is smart enough, they will reach out to us to make some things happen. On X earlier today, I purposely reached out to both Republican candidates here in New York, and you need to sit down with the U.S. Freedmen Project. That's what you need to do right now. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I think the Republican Party now, I've said this before. I don't think Trump is going to ignore New York, but I think the Republican Party has given up on New York. I think they have, and it's silly because if you look at the voting turnout for the presidential election, you would see now is the time for you to actually, and I say that because they didn't have any viable candidates for mayor. Sliwa is not a viable candidate. I don't give a god darn what you say. He is a big fat joke. Did you see how they was throwing bikes, trash, everything at him after the election? Yo, that was so hilarious. He's not a viable candidate. So I don't understand what the Republican Party is doing here in New York, because this is the time, and they're not doing anything. They have, I don't know if they just have no one. But I would like to see what they're gonna come up with, and I don't know. I don't have too much faith in them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm wondering if they're gonna come up with anybody. Oh, we going back to this. Lord have mercy.
Let's because this is the one who made the she pissed off at Governor Hochul. We pissed off with you. So, and then we'll bring in Brother Divine right after this. Hold on.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much, Mona Lisa, for inviting me to speak. Thank you, Pastor Mullery, for putting this very much needed forum on Haitian TPS. I want to thank our Congresswoman Yvette Clark, who's been leading this effort and part of the Haiti caucus in Congress for so many years. I want to thank her for also putting this together, as well as our leader in Congress, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, for being here tonight and giving us awareness of what him and his colleagues, including Yvette Clark, Congresswoman Yvette Clark, fighting for us up down in DC. I just wanted to say that it is great that we're convening, because all of us are just an example of fighters in our community, and having to have this forum is very important. Ever since the decision made by the Trump administration regarding the termination of TPS, I represent the largest community of Haitian populated residents in the state of New York and Little Haiti, of which Stephanie Delia, I want to give an acknowledgement for her, who also put this together, who's the executive director of Little Haiti, of which it's a very much concern for me, because I represent these constituents, but I also proud daughter of Haitian immigrants. I understand the fear, the anxiety, and the threat of so many lives that are going to be impacted. Haitians, many Haitians, especially those with TPS status, have been living in our country for many years, have contributed billions and billions of dollars into our economy, and they have a right. They have a right to be here. We have a right. This is our home. As you know, we built this nation together, and it hasn't been for free. And with that said, this forum is very important for the purpose of understanding what resources are available, how do we respond to ICE as they're coming into our communities and unlawfully, illegally trying to deport our people to a place where they have no home. I will say that in the Assembly, we are working collectively to come up with legislation. I'm a co-sponsor of 2 legislation where New York State is prohibiting ICE from policing our grounds and any corporation with NYPD or any law enforcement institutions. There's so many other things that we're trying to do to create a safe place, safe havens, and putting resources and funding for legal help and ways that we can rapidly respond to any deportation that's happening or any detention, illegal detention that's happening in our presence in our community. So I just want to take the time to thank everyone for being on this forum. And that's who we are, como Haitian. You know, we are resilient, we're fighters, and we're going to have to fight, even if we have to build places where we have to hide our people and do Harriet Tubman all over again, and build underground railroads, if that's what we have to do.
All over.
But again, I want to thank everyone for coming to this, and thank you for allowing me to be here. I also
So disrespectful on many levels. First, you talking about hiding people illegally. This creature is trying to get you to break the law. That's number one. Number two, she invokes the spirit in the name of our ancestor, Harriet Tubman. Why don't you invoke somebody else? Don't mess with our legacy. Don't mess with our legacy for your benefit. Temporary status is temporary status. You need to get up out of here. Sister, let me bring in Brother Divine. Brother Divine, you ready? Welcome to U.S. Freedmen Project President, Brother Divine Prince, up on the Brooklyn Bridge, bro. What's happening?
What's happening? What's going on, family?
Man, I don't know if you heard behind the scenes, but a lot of things have happened, and now you have assembly persons trying to get people to break the law.
Man,
temporary protective status, as if we don't know what the hell the word temporary means.
Absolutely. I want to say first, hey, Sister Brooke. Hey, Sister Marcia. What's going on, Brother Black, as you have been faded to black for right now. And what's going on, my big sister Keish. So I want to make sure I put this in proper perspective once before we get started, because again, we believe in speaking truth as well as speaking truth to power. Sister Rodney, I have to give her credit before we go in and kind of critique some things she's saying, because Assemblywoman Bashalt is a co-sponsor on our desegregation bill. So I want to make sure I give her kudos before we talk about what they're doing now with TPS, and specifically, because we want to make sure that we are right and exact, specifically talking about not immigration, but illegal aliens. See, that's the caveat that is being conflated in this conversation. When we're talking about TPS, and we're also talking about the hiding of people and trying to frame it as they are illegally coming into our communities, that's just all the way wrong. Like, you're flat out lying at this point, right? So there's conflating things, there's misinformation, and then there's just lying. And so when you say ICE is illegally coming to deport illegal aliens, that's just a lie. And that is what this call and these type of conversations and what's going on with the left wing of white supremacy is doing. It is conflating all of these conversations in one to make you believe that they are coming in and taking legal citizens and deporting them somewhere that they don't belong. Where the reality is before we even get to TPS, we're talking about people that have come into the country and are here illegally, needing to be deported, and others that were here and had a deportation order that they violated, which then becomes essentially to equate it to how we are, what we deal with as citizens. You have an open warrant for your arrest. And so when you violate that deportation order, there is a open warrant for your arrest and for your deportation. That is not illegal. There is no Anne Frank comparison. There is no Harriet Tubman comparison. There is no runaway slave comparison. Especially when we're talking about what was done to our ancestors, we're talking about an illegal institution that was enslaving Black American citizens. That is the crux of our justice claim. So this lie that everyone tells, like, oh no, slavery was legal, so just because something is legal don't mean you have to justify it. No, slavery was not legal. That was the whole point. The Confederate States were trying to make it legal. They wanted to start their Confederate States of America Constitution, which would have made it legal. It was not legal. And that's the issue that we have been dealing with since the day of the Union going against the Confederacy, which led to the Civil War and Foundation of Black Americans making this country recognize our emancipation. Someone crossing into this country illegally and or violating a deportation order doesn't even come close. It's not even the same stratosphere. And comparing it is the disrespect and the continuation of an ethnocide that we're standing up against, that we're seeing in various forms in this political arena.
Let me just say this. As you mentioned, her being a sponsor of the disaggregation bill that the U.S. Freedmen's Project has been lobbying. Until I see tangibles in that, because, you know, I know very well how this party operates. And they like to grease the pig, but don't want to give you the pig to eat from. And they have a long history of doing that. The same energy that they are putting behind TPS status, I want to see that same energy. I want to see Zoom calls. I want to see lobbying within the halls of Albany for the very same thing. And until I see that, all of them can kick rocks because I know how they operate. This is nothing new. They always promise us things, but others offer others tangibles. And so until I see that, yeah, you're an enemy of the state to me. All of them are. All of them. In New York State Assembly, in New York State Congress, in the New York State Senate, and New York City Council. All of them operate under the code of their party. And if the party is against us, then you wonder why they have always been against us. I'm just going by history, and history never lies. It is what it is. It's a fact based on evidence. And fact based on evidence with this party, they are not to be trusted because it is of my understanding that the U.S. Freedmen's Project have been lobbying this for quite some time. However, I have not seen any Zoom town hall meetings, phone calls. If they call you when they want money from you, they call you. When they're trying to push some legislation, they call you. I haven't got any calls. I haven't got any mailing inserts. You know, when they send out what they're doing and working on. I haven't seen any of that or any of the literature talking about disaggregation. And so I see the party for what it is. Not saying that it won't happen. I see the party for what it is. And they are playing games with us in pushing this illegal status for people who have breached the border. You know, and I want people who cannot simplify this to understand one thing. You are all in your homes, I hope, safe and secure. And if someone comes into your home and violates your home and take over your home, and then you go to work every day, and when you come back home with that paycheck, they say, you're going to give me that bread too. How would you feel? Would you talk to them nicely? Or would you use everything in your power to get them out of your house? It's the same way with the borders of this country. They have breached the borders. They have taken advantage of what is within the borders, and we are paying for it. We are paying for it because there are a litany of taxes that's about to go up here in New York, and the count is high. It's high. So I just want to put that out there. That's from me. I'm not saying nobody else. That's just from me. I don't trust none of you bastards. Until I see tangibles on the table, you're all a bunch of liars and thieves. But I think Sister Brooke mentioned this video earlier with Judith Veneer Shura speaking at this forum. Hold on.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the Black community. Black Lives Matter starts there. I had last week a dinner, sit-down dinner at my house with 40 people, which are considered the leadership of the Black community, and it's very important people. They can be part of our doing an activity.
Dr. Clarence B. Jones, who wrote the draft speech for Martin Luther King, I had a dream. He was his lawyer, he was his close friend, he's somebody that I reached out to, he became a very close and personal friend.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the Black community.
They're not worried about anybody else. And I've said it many times on this platform. It doesn't matter the party. It doesn't matter the policy. We, foundational Black Americans, are the balance of power in this country. And Kathy Hochul tried to do a little grease the wheel, and she failed. She failed. Because had she reached out to us first and said, you guys want this aggregation? I got you. This is at the forefront right here and right now. She would have had the Black community.
And we know she's getting thousands of emails.
Oh, of course. Of course. If she would have said, no, we're going for lineage-based reparations, and I'm going to instruct the commission that they have to understand that and look for remedies for lineage-based reparations, she would have had our support. But they don't want our support. They are looking for not tomorrow, but 100 years from now. Their numbers are on the decline. And even if they are wiped from the face of this earth, their policy and ideals will remain because they know immigrants will gravitate toward it harder. Immigrants who are pissed off, some illegals are pissed off, but remember, it was the legal immigrants that voted for Donald Trump. You get what you deserve. It is what it is. Now you mad. You can't be mad. Don't blame us. You know, it is what it is. Sister Brooke, your thoughts on, because you mentioned that clip and even what I said, if you have some feeling towards that as well.
I mean, I think you're absolutely correct because like you said, look at all the Zoom calls, look at all of this. We're not getting that kind of support. We are having to force them to do what we want them to do with emails and showing them what kind of support that we have. And this is our country. Like no one has a longer claim to this land than us, other than the Native Americans. And we are all Native Americans. So no one has, none of these people here in New York have the claim that we have, but yet and still they're fighting for everybody but us. We are sitting there having to deal with this reparations commission hearings constantly that are based on an unconstitutional bill, and they know it. So I definitely agree with you. And like I said, it's at this point, the fact that Adrienne Adams is a Democrat, but now the Democrats don't want to, they're mad because she picked a Democrat. And then Mondami, who's a Democratic socialist, now he's a new type of Democrat, is also with them, but they're, come on, I don't care no more. And it's
actually,
like it's all
I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead, finish.
Go ahead, Brother Black.
Actually, What was the mayor before Eric Adams, the one that was married to the black woman?
De Blasio?
De Blasio was also a socialist. They've been around for a long time. He was the first one in a long time.
Black. Wasn't Dinkins a socialist?
Not really, because he's black.
Okay.
I'm done. You go ahead.
What would make quick question? Why would you say is Dinkins a socialist?
In some stuff that I've read in the past, they labeled Dinkin as a socialist, a democratic socialist, and he was the first from like 1920 or 1928 or something like that to come about, and then being a black man too. That's what I remember reading about Dinkins, and maybe I read it most recently during his transition, that they were talking about all his accolades in life.
Okay. In my opinion,
can I touch
living
when you're done.
Pause. In living through his candidacy, he was a staunch Democrat in every aspect of his governance as the mayor of New York City. So much so that, well, that's another story for another day. But in my opinion, he was a staunch Democrat, hard and true. Go ahead, Black.
What I wanted to say about Dinkins that I remember so well was he used to always be at the synagogue wearing that damn hat. And he used to call New York not a melting pot, but a grand mosaic. You know, he was so eloquent and at the same time just controlled by the hats. That was it. I mean, you were young when he was mayor. So I was a young adult at that time. So I remember of his governance, and just like Sister Keisha said, he was a spin arm NAACP Urban League / Black Congressional Congress Democrat.
Right. I was a young adult as well during his candidacy. And not just the hats, but the party. And, people really don't understand the history of the party. And I think people get a lot of things misconstrued. Please study the history of that party and see how it aligns with Black people in this country. Now, Yvette Clarke's mother, Dr. Una Clarke, she was on the board of CUNY, Board of Trustees for the City University of New York. She was appointed by the mayor in 2018. And, it ran until her death. But I want you to see something here. Let me see. I believe it is here. Trustee Clarke was elected to New York City Council as his first foreign-born, as well as the first Caribbean-born woman member. She represented Brooklyn's 40th Council District for 10 years, starting in 91, sponsoring more than 300 pieces of legislation on issues including child welfare, education, health, mental health, economic development, public safety, and transportation. She was an active member of the city's Black and Hispanic caucuses. An educator by profession, she directed millions of dollars in funding to upgrade schools in her district. But her focus and her concentration was the immigrant community. That was her focus and her concentration through all of her tenure. So again, her daughter took her position, in that district rather. It is going back many, many years. What we're seeing now, as I read last week, this goes back to 96. when they were starting this mess, when they were pushing this immigrant agenda back to 96. And a lot of folks missed it. I know they missed it. I know for certain they missed it because that's why everybody's so shocked. Now, everybody's shocked. But this has been going on for quite some time. Sister Brooke, you can continue with what you were discussing.
Child, I forgot. But
sorry.
You know, it's not shocking to hear that this is the plan because, like I said, even when you read the book, the back of the hiring line, this is the whole point of bringing them here in the first place. And let me just say something, because I have I've said multiple times on this show, I grew up in East Flatbush. I have a lot of Caribbean friends, a lot. And I have a lot of people who are close to me like family. Let me just say this to you guys. Do you realize that in falling for the white supremacist agenda of erasing us, you are leaving your homeland unprotected? You are giving it up. And let's just talk about specifically that, because we're talking about TPS status. Let's talk about the island of IT. IT, from what I've learned, from what my friends or from what other Haitians have taught me, IT has an abundance of iridium, correct? A mineral that God gave y'all because your island is a meteor. So God literally brought it down from the heavens to you. And the white supremacists want it. And by most of you, how many thousands of Haitians are here in New York? You are leaving one of the most expensive minerals vulnerable for the white supremacists to just take. You know why? Because you're not there. See, we're not going to let that happen here. And that is why they hate us so much. Because we're not going to leave our homeland unprotected. You're not going to trick us into leaving. And they have been trying to trick us into leaving since emancipation. They tried to trick us with, boats to Liberia. They tried to trick us with Marcus Garvey. They tried to trick us with the year of return. It ain't working. You're not tricking us up off our land. And I want to say to y'all, go home and protect your beautiful islands. I love mangoes. Go home. You got mangoes in abundance over there. The good ones, the ones that don't have a lot of hair in it. I got the good mangoes. You're leaving your homelands unprotected, and they're over there dumping guns off in your homeland, dumping drugs in your homeland. Everything they did to us in the 80s, they're doing to you now. But can you defend it? Can you fix it? No, because you're so busy fighting us and sticking your nose in our business that you're leaving your homes unprotected. And I'll land there.
I'll say this much. They have left their lands way before right now, way before the earthquake that brought up the iridium or uranium or whatever it is, because it was due to the Clintons' excavation of that island.
So you come over here to be with the Clintons?
Listen,
make that make sense. Why, if the Clintons are the enemy, why would you come to the land of the Clintons?
There is no debate here. This is just a conversation. This is what had happened.
Sounds like
Right?
excuses.
It's not
I'm
an
sick of
excuse.
them.
Listen. I'm not there. I wasn't born there. I know what I know through the history that I know. So there's no debate with me on what I know, because you and I know about the same information. And so when the Clintons was there and interrupted their election process in 90 and 94, it's the same interruptions that's happening right now in America.
We have been interrupted for 400 years. We know about interruptions, and still we are not being tricked up off our land.
I don't know, because people are leaving New York in droves. Black
New
people.
York, not United States. The whole United States is our land. We might leave New York, but we're not leaving our country. So how come they not moving from one city in Haiti to another city in Haiti?
We don't know if that's not happening. We don't know if that's not
for
happening.
TPS status. What you mean? How you mean? How you mean?
No,
I'm talking about the people that are here fighting for temporary protected status, trying to make it permanent when the shit says temporary.
Is it them that's fighting?
That's what we're talking about here today.
Is it them that's fighting, or these politicians that are fighting on their behalf?
On behalf
because I know plenty of people that are here on TPS status that knows when their date is up. They have a date. They come here for 3 years or 6 years. They have a date that they are supposed to leave. I don't know about other things and other people. I know what I know about what I know. There are people here under this status that are here for X amount of days. They are supposed to be gone by that time. That's what I know. Now, if these politicians in their area wants to fight for them so that they could get permanent residency, that's a whole different type of conversation. And that's what these politicians are fighting for. It's not the individuals. I could send you to 3 people and they'll tell you, I'm not asking to stay permanent.
So why do they keep voting for them?
Who's voting for them? TPS people can't vote for nobody.
Bullshit. That's why we fighting for make sure. Let me finish. That's why we making sure that they. That's why we're making sure that they take ID when they're voting. We already know that there's illegal voting happening.
For no one.
Why the Senate seats and everything are being turned around. So that's talking about how they're not voting is BS. That's why they gave them driver's license.
Voting for people. They can't vote for no one. They're
voting illegally. That is the whole point of this whole real ID. That is the whole point of trying to take ID at the voting box. People are finding out, people who are sitting at home are finding out that people are stealing their identities. Look at the fraud that's happening. They're stealing identities of the elderly in the nursing homes and using their identities to vote for these people. So when you're saying that they're not voting, they're not supposed to vote, but it's happening.
Well, I'm not sure about that level of the conversation. I won't talk about what I don't know.
Well, but I can talk about what I do know.
Well, I don't know that because I know from the election.
When I went to vote, they didn't ask me for my ID.
I know when I went to vote, they did.
They didn't ask me for no ID.
Well, and I don't know. Each district is different.
And I'm in a heavy non-American district.
I don't know, but where I am, they didn't ask me for my
ID. And I was surprised by that. I was ready to bring it up.
And you should have checked them.
I said, we don't need that.
You checked them and reported them. Because they're supposed to.
Number one, that's illegal. You can't record anything at the election.
I didn't say record. I said check them and report. Report. Not record.
It's not that's the whole reason why they're changing the law right now, because that is, what am I reporting? Something that's legal right now? They're changing the law to make sure that it is illegal for people without IDs to vote.
No, because when you work at the electoral district thing, when they get these people, they tell the people, that you have to get your ID, you have to look up that person, you have to verify the
Hold
ID.
on. Pause, ladies, pause. They are voting illegally. And in fact, Congresswoman Yvette Clarke said she needed those votes so that she can keep her seat. Not only are they voting, they are opening up bank accounts, they're getting licenses and starting businesses. I witnessed that myself in Chase Bank on Linden Boulevard. So it is happening. It is happening. Now, as you said, Sister Marcia, certain people know their time is up and they ready to go back home. My thing is this. If you know that Department of Homeland Security is at an all-time high, why are you waiting to the final day? Why are you waiting to the final day? Because they can snatch you up off the street at any time. And that's what Congressman Hakeem Jeffries and Congresswoman Yvette Clarke was just explaining. And Assemblywoman Bashar explaining that they need to be protected because they can be taken up at any time. Now, further in this Zoom call, you had some attorneys who were trying to teach or giving legal counsel to people who are here illegally, trying to tell them how to protect their assets. How do you get assets in a country of which you are not legal? And I didn't play that part of the Zoom call, but that is also on the call. So a lot of things are happening. And I'll tell you this, those who are legal here, I can only speak for New York because this is where I live, but it's happening around the country. So let's keep the framework on New York. None of these legal organizations are advocating on our behalf, but they want you to get out in the street and get your head busted and get locked up for people who have breached the borders. That is a problem. Now I'm gonna play this clip that Brooke sent me because, as it says, legal immigrants on camera. We waited 20 years, went to hearings, did everything by the book. Now illegal skipped the line. This is not right. Hold on.
I am a legal immigrant. I was born in Israel and I came to America as a child, and my parents, they actually had to fill out applications and I had to go get sworn in to get my citizenship. So why are these people, why are they allowed to cut the line when my family had no line to cut?
How long did that take?
Whatever it took, we stood by the line. Whatever this country told us was legal, we stood by that line.
Were you facing persecution?
I didn't come here illegally. I came here on a visa. I was a child. I came here legally.
Was your country persecuting you?
No, my country
was persecuting me, and I came here and I became an American citizen. I'm a legal alien.
My country wasn't persecuting me.
How long did that take?
For me to become a citizen, I did all the due process, man. Every due process, every paper. Years.
We don't care.
Years. And even if it had taken 20 years, you know what?
Let
Let me tell you something. I've been here 22 years. You know when I became an American? A year ago. Best day of my life after the birth of my kids.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Were you illegal before that day?
No, I was not illegal. I was following the rules. I was under visas. And the moment they said, this is one day over your visa, out. I was out. I was respecting the country that was welcoming me. It was giving me an opportunity and a chance.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Damn, it actually just left my head.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
But again, and I know someone personally who is born from Mexico and is a hat. Okay, I know y'all don't believe that hats are there, but they are. But he had to go back and forth whenever his work visa was up. Thanks. He had to go back. Poise, Brother Black. He had to go back. Then file for another work visa to come back over here. Then when he came back over here, because he comes from a wealthy family who was connected to the Democratic Party, he was able to not only get his work visa, but then a green card. And then when he got the green card, he had to go back. He had to go back for a couple of months, then come back and apply for his citizenship. So again, you have people who are from Africa, who are from the Caribbean, who are from these Latin countries that have been here 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and you ain't get your goddamn paperwork. Too bad. Too bad. Hit the bricks. It's over. Hit the bricks. And I just have a question. Because Marcia brought up the fact that the Clintons are doing so much BS over in Haiti. And that is a fact. But at one point, like Brooke said, do you go back and fight home and maintain that? You can't have it both ways. You can't be on these shores complaining about the Clintons, but you ain't going home to fight them. Here on this shore, and I can only speak from here, because this is where my lineage is from. So now I can only speak from here. We fought this beast every step of the way from beginning to end. The majority of Black Americans do not flee the U.S. shores to go elsewhere and disrupt the politics in another country, take jobs from those from other countries, stand in those countries and say these people have no culture, stand in this country and say that I'm going to take what's rightfully yours away from you. It does not happen. So that's why I'm saying I'm not giving nobody no breaks, because nobody is fighting for us. Everybody came over here for a better way of life, allegedly. But if you read the book, The Invisible Coup, you will think differently. And I would employ everybody to read that book, The Invisible Coup. In fact, it's on Audible. You can listen to it. When you finish that, read back of the hiring line or listen to it. Then you tell me, is it fair for us? But again, nobody is thinking about us. Nobody. But at the same time, you can use our history and our legacy for your own benefit. And that is a problem. And that's why I say folks have been leaning on our lineage and legacy for so long. You don't know how to stand on your own. My two great-grandmothers are buried not too far from where I live. I can walk to their graves. I live on a street that was a plantation at one time. One of the biggest slave masters in Brooklyn, New York, I live on that street. His grave is not too far from my house, including some of those who were enslaved by him. I am not leaving my great-grandmothers for no goddamn body. They fought on this soil. Every war in this country, going back to the American Revolution, I have people in my family who fought for this soil. They didn't run. They didn't hide. They fought. This union would not be if it wasn't for people in my family and the other men and women who fought in the Civil War. So when I hear immigrants talk about, well, they built this country, you ain't built a goddamn thing. You came to something that was already here. You didn't fight for nothing. If you work and have a job here, Black people fought for that job for you. We fought for it for ourselves, but you got the benefit of it. Nobody is helping us.
And immigrants built this nation when they was forcing everybody to be Black.
At the end of the day, however, they were dark-skinned men in a deeply segregated society. And the places where they were able to live, build homes, marry, and begin families were within African-American communities. Moxed married an African-American woman from the neighborhood of Treme.
They even had Moxed listed as Black on the 1900 census, living with his wife and children. White people were not playing around. They were like, you cannot sit with us, but you can go sit with those Negroes. When royalty from Hawaii would come to the mainland, everyone thought they were Negroes and they were mistreated. King Kamehameha had to get out of the white caboose. When the Queen of Hawaii went to New York, They were like, why is this black lady trying to get into these white hotels? And in Cheneyville, Louisiana in 1915, some Mexican children tried to go to an all-white school, all for Walter P. Ford to tell them that they better get out of there or else with their Negro blood and head over to the colored school. Walter P. Ford was the son of William Prince Ford, the former enslaver of Solomon Northup, who wrote the autobiography 12 Years a Slave. If Black Americans didn't welcome in these immigrants that were being shunned by the white communities, there would have been nothing to build. So the whole point is, how can you ignore the fact that Black Americans had to welcome you in to a community to build something? There would be nothing if we didn't welcome you guys in. No one was saying.
So again, you've been leaning on our legacy for so long. You don't know how to stand on your own. And then you come to these shores, as of late, within the last, from the 60s until now, I would say. You come to these shores and you stand with the enemy we've been fighting for. They don't want you. They never wanted you. But you look your nose down at the group who brought your dumb ass in. You don't fight for the group who brought you in. That's why you catching hell now. Because as my great-grandmothers lay in a grave not too far from where I live, their spirit is rumbling, baby. Make them catch all kinds of hell because we welcomed them in. As I said before, one of my great-grandmothers advocated for a lot, sponsored some of you mother effers when you came here. And what do you do for her lineage? Nothing. So her spirit is rising. Go, Ida, go, baby. It's up and it's stuck. So I don't want to hear no crap. I'm not giving no leeway to nobody. Because as Dr. Claude Anderson said, everyone is against us. Everyone is fighting us. Don't give me no smoke and mirrors, no what if or what could be. I'm telling you what is. And another thing that I've learned, we have the ability to trace our lineage via paperwork that other groups cannot do and won't do. Some of y'all can't go past your grandmother, your great-grandparents, you can't go that far. You don't know their names. You don't know what they did. You don't know where they lived. You don't know what happened to them. You don't know where they moved to. You don't know where they came from. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. And so, until it gets better, I hope everybody catches all kinds of hell. Because the more you dig into your own story, you will feel the exact same way that I feel. To know what happened to the farmland in my family. To know what happened when they came to Brooklyn as free Black people. What happened to them? You may not know your story or want to know, but goddamn it, get out of our way. Because the smoke is just getting thick. Brother Divine, your thoughts on any of the things that you heard or was discussed?
Yeah, so I wanted to chime in. Let's go backwards first, since it's most recent to that video that you just shared. I kind of understand what he was saying. He worded it a little bit weird because he was working from the premise of if immigrants built the country. So I understand what he was saying. But I want to also point out one of the things that often gets left out or conveniently omitted is that in a lot of cases, especially here in New York, because we're talking about New York, so we will frame it around that, even though it happened other places. Two prominent names, and I've said this before, but I want to frame it in this conversation. Two prominent names that people tried to lift up during Foundation Black American History Month are Shirley Chisholm and Stokely Carmichael, two Afro immigrants from the Caribbean. And not to negate what the brother just said in his video, but just, like I said, to add this footnote to that story. Both Stokely Carmichael and Shirley Chisholm's, their families were allowed to live in white neighborhoods in New York. Neighborhoods that foundational Black Americans could not live in or have access to. So the other side of that story, when we talk about, oh, they built our city, they built New York, or they built this country, they were allowed into areas that we were not. And that's because the system of white supremacy has never, because he kind of started talking about what happened to these melanated Hawaiians and these other people that went here, and they were like, you guys have Negro blood. That is true to a certain degree. But in the instances where they could delineate or differentiate between the quote unquote Negro blood of foundation Black Americans and the Negro blood of Afro immigrants, the treatment has always been different in this country. Malcolm X talked about it. Muhammad Ali talked about it. It is documented in this country that they were able to come here. And because they are different than us and viewed differently by white supremacy, they were never, never, never subject to the same treatment that we had. So they were propped up by the system of white supremacy while we were consistently and constantly knocked down. Outside of that, I want to say, when we talk about the voting that the sisters talked about when they went back and forth, there were a ton of things that at the height of the illegal alien crisis that was taking place in New York, there were tons of gaslighting from the left-wing white supremacists, the liberals, on TV and off, online and offline, that were telling us all the things that illegal aliens are not able to do and thus were not doing. It was not until Eric Adams found out that any cushy positions from Democrats on high was not coming, and the money was going to be stopped, that he got a quote unquote change of heart and started exposing what was happening. And then we found out that illegal aliens were getting housing. Illegal aliens were getting stipends. Illegal aliens were getting debit cards to buy the food they wanted because the food that was being provided on the taxpayer's dime wasn't their ethnic taste buds. And we only need go back to 2021, and I've shared this before, where the U.S. Freedmen Project had to work with the New York Republicans to get this reversed. The Democratic City Council, led by Speaker Adams at the time, to bring that full circle, approved and passed during the same Mayor de Blasio that Brother Black brought up. They voted to allow non-citizens the right to vote in local elections here in New York as long as they have been in the city for 30 days. Even though members of the city council objected and said, hey, this is going to dilute specifically foundational Black American political power in New York, because that's the communities that you're going to drop them off in. And so we were able to get that reversed based on, no shocker there, the constitutionality of the New York State Constitution that the Democrats were purposely ignoring. But had that passed, because this is well before the illegal alien crisis that the Democrats under Kamala and Biden allowed. So imagine, if you will, if we did not get that reversed, because Democrats good, Republicans bad, all of those illegal aliens that were getting all those set-asides that the same Democrats told us wasn't happening, all of them would have been eligible to vote. And that's what this comes down to. Replacing us as the base of the Democrat Party, because as Sister Keisha said, when you look at the origins of that Democrat Party, and we saw the first ticket on display at the New York Historical Society, they still believe in and operate under the premise of no Negro equality. So anything they need to do or have to do, they will do. Here's the flip side to that, though. And this is where we come in, and where I agree with you, I don't disagree with anything you said when you talk about advocacy. We understand as Foundation Black Americans that this country has never done anything for us that we did not force them to do. So when we talk about the advocacy that we're doing, that's what we're doing. We're not appealing to the Democrat Party because they want to be righteous or they want to do the right thing or they care about Foundation Black American equality. No, we are forcing them to do what we need them to do by flexing our Foundation Black American political capital. The same political capital that, if it was up to them, would be outside in the streets fighting for those same illegal aliens that they wanted to allow to vote over us and dilute our political power. And that's why we're saying no.
Agreed, brother. Agreed. I just want to address this comment that Sister Pat put up. She said, I think it's unfair to single out Sister Marcia in this discussion. Let me be clear. I'm not singling out anybody. I'm speaking to the issue the way that we all are speaking to the issue. And so I let her have her spill. I let Brooke have her spill. And I had my spill. But the Divine has his. And Black as well. Speak your talk. But when we talking to the issues, I know what I know. And that's that. So it's not singling out anybody. That's not how I operate over here. So that's where we at. So, but as she said, she know what she knows, and I know what I know. And I know none of these groups have ever helped us. I know that all of these groups are here as a buffer against us. I'm not saying it. That's what they said. That's what they said. That is their policy. So in recent events, you had the Grammy Awards, and you had two melanated people who came up, and as soon as they got the award, they went to thank their lineage. One being country music singer Shibuzi, who is Nigerian. Some of you who don't know country music, and I do. So he's whack. His number one hit is a remake of Jaquan's Everybody in the Club Get Tipsy. He just did a country version of it. The rest of the album is trash. However, when they had the Met Gala here in New York, he's the only idiot that they could put a dress on. Because you're not going to get Willie Jones to wear a dress. You're not going to get Rashad to wear a dress. You're not going to get Darius Rucker to wear a dress. You're not going to get Blanco Brown to wear a dress. You're not going to get Kane Brown to wear a dress. None of these black males in country music, Black Americans, you're going to get to wear a dress. And so when he came up and he said, immigrants built this country, we're tired of that rhetoric. You didn't build a goddamn thing. Nothing. You came to something already established that was built on the backs of enslaved people. And people are getting tired of it. And that's why the delineation movement is growing rapidly. And I'm telling you all who are not on code with that, if you say the things that you want to say, and it's against the delineation and disaggregation movement, you're going to get chopped and screwed out here. You had your turn. It didn't work. In fact, it caused more problems. But these other folks ain't playing no more. We on a different time. You got to get caught up with the wheel. If you're not caught up with the wheel, you're going to get chopped. So right now, Shibuzi is getting chopped for those comments that he made. In fact, he tried to come out and put out a statement, a sort of an apology, but throwing a little dig in there. And when he did that, they came for him even harder. So he's feeling the wrath right now. And a lot of people are saying enough is enough with, you built this and you built that kind of stuff.
Immigrants did not build America. The free labor of enslaved Black people built America. And when we say otherwise, it's erasing the actual gruesome history of this country, which directly impacted Black and Native Americans. When we speak about American history, we need to be accurate and ensure we understand timelines and definitions. No Black person in the Americas, from Canada to Argentina to Brazil to Trinidad, is an immigrant. Forced migration and enslavement for the development of new countries in the New World doesn't equal immigration. Slaves built the monuments from the White House to the U.S. Capitol and the Washington Monument, often performing the quarrying, masonry, and labor. Their labor was central to the construction of early American infrastructure, particularly in Washington, D.C. and the southern states. Slaves built the ports in New York City, the flattening of all the lands in all the cities and the newly formed colonies, which then turned into America. Enslaved people built nearly all the railroad infrastructure in American South before the Civil War, constructing thousands of miles of track that connected the region. From the 1830s to 1860s, slave laborers cleared land, graded routes, and laid tracks for almost every major line east of the Mississippi and the south of the Mason-Dixon line. The nearly 9,000 miles of track in the antebellum South were almost exclusively built by slave labor, which utilized thousands of rented slaves prior to the arrival of the Chinese workers to finish the rest in the westward expansion and due to the abolishment of slavery. Many of you keep mentioning Mexicans and other groups in this convo without understanding continental America today wasn't America then. Mexico is also a colonial settler country by Spain. The native populations have existed in these lands for thousands of years, so there are no Mexicans or Native Americans. The United States territory brought slaves to this continent in 1619. The westward expansion wasn't until 2.5 centuries later. The enslaved population built the wealth of America for those 250 years, so Americans had the ability to buy Louisiana, buy Mexico, and expand the country. No one else did this. The westward expansion started in 1801 and ended in 1861, was the rapid territorial growth of the United States from the Mississippi River to the Pacific Ocean, driven by the ideology of manifest destiny. It was then that the United States took vast amounts of land from Mexico, primarily through the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in 1848, which ended the Mexican-American War and ceded over 520,000 square miles, creating the Mexican Cession, including now California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona. This expansion caused the forced removal, destruction of culture, and confinement of Native American populations to reservations. When we're having these conversations, it's absolutely imperative that you have a grasp on American history and timelines to accurately reflect what's being discussed, because while immigrants absolutely developed America, Black Americans and their free labor are wholly responsible for the wealth that America built and made it the nation that it is today. This doesn't negate the later contributions of immigrants, but we have to tell the story correctly.
A lot of people ain't telling stories correctly. They're not. Let's play this clip. Hold on.
I was there with, I forgot now how many African-American men there were on staff that I was with. And they, of course, conveniently all got, I mean, not so conveniently, but they were arrested and jailed together. And I was there by myself saying, you know, they were trying to figure out what to do with me, I think, essentially. So I said, very helpfully, you know, well, why don't you just put me in jail with those guys? and the guy, this prison guard, he looks at me and he says, but you're not colored. I mean, meaning I'm not Black. So you're white. So I was put in the city jail with white prisoners. And, you know, that was a fascinating experience.
Sister Brooke, you want to address that?
I just wanted to reiterate what or reinforce what President Devine was saying when he said that these groups were treated differently from us. There's another clip that I'm trying to find, but I sent you one where the lady was talking about the movie theaters, how we had to sit in the colored section and they did not, a Hispanic woman. And before we go deeper, You talked about small hats in Mexico. Isn't the president a small hat? Isn't she a small hat? Okay. So not only do small hats live in Mexico, she's your president.
Shine bomb. Most of the presidents of the Spanish in the Caribbean are Jewish. Most of them. I don't care what their last name is. Vincent Fox was the last before Scheinbaum. I don't remember who it was, but Vincent Fox is a Jew. Castro was a Jew. And Scheinbaum now, and there's a few others. One in Panama.
You gotta use Instagram or whatever social media friendly language, because they will take down the live. They will do all these
bro
things.
You gotta study up on this stuff. You have to,
especially the kind of stuff you be talking about. You gotta learn how to speak in code.
I don't know how I gotta express that to Black, but you gotta start understanding. Even when you just post something on your Facebook page, you have to understand social media language, bro, because you're getting yourself in a whole lot of trouble, and you could avoid a lot of it. You know, we have the power of language. We've always been savvy with language. Use that for your benefit, bro. I'm just giving you a tidbit here. Now, go ahead. Y'all can go ahead.
Yeah, so Hispanics and other groups were allowed to be white, including Professor Smalls used to tell a story all the time about how he was trying to date this Trinidadian woman, and he was like, he saw her, he thought she was a sister, or she appeared to be a sister to him. He tried to holler at her, and she was like, oh no, she's like, you think I'm Black, don't you? And she went back, got her license or her identification, and came back, and it said Caucasian. So we see that other groups were allowed to hop in and out of Blackness whenever they see fit. And that to me is the ultimate you're not Black, because that's part of what being Black is you are Black 365 days of the year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You don't get no breaks. At least that's what being Black American is. And so if you can hop and choose and pick and decide when you are going to be Black, you are not Black. And to talk about Shabozo.
You want me to play this instead before you do it?
Yeah, you could go ahead. Mm-hmm.
America's physical infrastructure was built on enslaved labor, not no damn immigration. Before mass immigration, all of that stuff began, the core economic foundation, ladies and gentlemen, of this nation, it was already laid. Foundational Black American labor, we built the roads, the ports, the plantations, the canals, the rail beds, the government buildings, entire cities across the South and parts of the North, ladies and gentlemen. And the wealth generated from our labor financed all the banks, all the universities, all the insurance companies, all the shipping industries. All of early industrialization came from foundational Black American labor. The immigrants followed the goddamn infrastructure. They didn't create it. Don't let these people tell that lie. You can't credit Johnny-come-latelys who came after the structures were already standing. They immigrated to something. They benefited from the foundation. We are the foundation, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop playing. The hardest, most dangerous foundational labor, clearing the land, draining the swamps, surviving malaria zones. We had to break the soil. That was us doing that. That was our family doing that. Don't let nobody disrespect your family. You're not going to erase. This is why delineation is here. You're not going to erase us. You can whine and cry. We're going to stand on FBA business and remind you of the damn truth. Y'all not going to sit here talking about some goddamn immigrants came over here and built all this shit, and you didn't build a goddamn thing where you fled from.
I want to ask Sister Brooke, real quick, Sister Keisha, real quick. I want to ask Sister Brooke, or the FBA panelists here, what did y'all think about FBA getting that Tariq for going to Senegal 2 weeks ago?
What FBA got?
What FBA?
Who? We did not. So who was that?
Oh, I think he froze.
Okay, so we'll let him come back and explain. I just sent you 2 videos real quick. I just want one is on the Buffalo Soldiers and the infrastructure that they built, and the second is on Palm Beach and the infrastructure that we built. The last 2 ones, I know I sent you a lot of stuff. The last 2 ones I sent you.
I have it already queued up on the gram anyway. Hold on.
American history. You did not learn in school.
No, they were Native Americans that lived around Yosemite and in Yosemite. The 10th Cavalry, United States Buffalo Soldiers, we went there and we built Yosemite. We built the roads, we built the buildings, we built all the structures here. And we did so well, they said, well, let's send them over to Sequoia. So we went over to Sequoia. We built Sequoia. The next thing you know, we're the first national park ranger. We built national parks from Maine to California. That's good enough for you?
Little known history. Little known history. Maine to California. Very far apart.
Do you know the history of Palm Beach?
No.
They built,
I do. Yeah, but go ahead.
They created it. It was like a sandbar that they built up, and then they hired a bunch of black people to come on the island and build all the houses, the infrastructure.
Why black people?
I don't know.
I mean, for sure, they only hired black people?
I mean, look it up, Jamie, but like all I know is there was a lot of black people doing the building. They finished it, and then the island held a big party for the black people on the end of the island to celebrate, and then they torched all their houses.
What?
And forced them off the island. Yeah, that's the history of Palm Beach.
They torched their houses?
Torched the houses.
After they were done building the mansions?
Yes. Yeah. And it's probably the wealthiest piece of real estate in the country right now.
So many people are fucking evil.
So, I think Black was talking about some murmurings that came from these Pan-Africanists. And let me tell y'all something. You can be whatever the hell you want to be. But don't come stepping with antiquated information. And a lot of you move on antiquated information and you stuck there. For an example, I had a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking about Arthur Schomburg. And this person is close with the UNIA organization, which is another organization that pisses me off to no end. But I said, you can't talk about Arthur Schomburg without John Edward Bruce. And if you read some of Arthur Schomburg's writings, he talked about his dear friend, John Edward Bruce, right? Where he went and he said John Edward Bruce had the most extensive library that he has ever had. Excuse me, that he has ever seen. But in Harlem, you have the Schomburg Library, named after a Puerto Rican, Afro-Puerto Rican. But you don't have anything for John Edward Bruce. And it is him where Arthur got the information from. Again, always pushing the immigrant before us. This has always been policy. But again, most people don't study. In fact, let me show y'all. This is newspaper talking about his death, right? Let's get down here. He has been associated with the Negro World, organ of the UNIA, as a contributing editor, held membership in the American Negro Academy. He was the founder of Negro Society for Historical Research. You can't talk about Carter G. Woodson and not talk about John Edward Bruce. He built the first Negro Research Society. Negro History Week did not start with Carter G. Woodson. Because people don't know how to dig further. Just say you're not a researcher and you don't know how to do it. Because a lot of y'all are spewing old, antiquated information. And you don't know what you're doing. This man died penniless and broke, building a library for Black people. Garvey. The eulogies were delivered by Marcus Garvey, William Sherrill, and George Carter, representing the UNIA. But you don't hear UNIA folks talk about John Edward Bruce. But Garvey did. A lot of y'all move with antiquated stuff, and it pisses me off. You in 2026 got access to information at your fingertips, and you still dumb as rocks. You can't tell me nothing. I research all day, every day. You can't tell me nothing. I just had a 2.5-hour conversation earlier this week with Trust Graham, and we was talking about the very same thing. People get one thing and fly with it. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. So how, again, in Harlem, you have the Schomburg Library, but you have nothing dedicated to John Edward Bruce, who was a dear friend of Arthur, and Arthur went to him for research and information.
Is it because of his last name and his associating with the hats?
I don't know. Could be, sis.
Because it seems like they always have their money to, do all these things. Because he was half small hat. And Bruce was not.
And John Edward Bruce was a Pan-Africanist. At least in his mind he was. But again, he brought everybody with him. Nobody bringing him with them. Again, we carry it. Nobody else do. And I saw some of y'all having discussions about Carter G. Woodson. You know a smidget of the information. And you say you teaching people? You out your goddamn mind. You knock it off. When we went upstate with Sister Marcia Group, we went along the Hudson, right, to one of the most dangerous hikes in America on Breakneck Mountain. We was going through the Hudson. I was letting everybody know the history of our ancestors who cultivated that land in that area. As a researcher, I'm letting people know the mountain you're climbing, the streets that you're walking, all in this area, we cultivated it. It is several books out here on the Hudson Valley slave system. If you want, I'll give y'all a few of them. Hold on.
In 1965, the Democratic establishment pulled off the greatest magic trick in American political history. They had all of Black America looking at the right hand, celebrating the Voting Rights Act, the marches, and the end of Jim Crow. But while we were distracted by the ballot, the left hand was quietly signing a bill that would dismantle the Black American middle class before it had even had a chance to stand up. It was called the Hart-Celler Act of 1965. They slipped it through Congress just 2 months after the Voting Rights Act. They sold it to us as another civil rights victory. They told us it was about fairness. And reality, it was a calculated economic trade. At the moment, Black men were finally getting access to the high-wage union jobs in places like Detroit, Chicago, Pittsburgh, and more. But this bill, it sneaked in a mechanism to flood those same cities with a new, cheaper immigrant labor workforce. They handed us the vote with one hand, and they slashed our wages and economics with the other. In 1960,
it continues to happen. And that party is at the heart of it. Is at the heart of it. These things continue to happen. I think we lost Brother Black. You ready to come back, Black, or no? Give me a thumbs up and let me know what you want. But everybody here on the panel and in the chat, you know about Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? They talk about this town that became very prosperous right after enslavement. But there's another part of the story. And the other part of the story, excuse me, let me take this off, sorry. The other part of the story is it wasn't just Tulsa. As far as Oklahoma is concerned. In fact, there were over 50 towns. When I say Black Americans had Oklahoma on lock, we had Oklahoma on lock. And there's a reason why they keep you looking towards Tulsa. Because they don't want you to see the connecting factors of Oklahoma. And after the Civil War, foundational Black Americans undertook one of the most remarkable nation-building efforts in U.S. history. Between 1865 and 1915, more than 1,200 Black settlements and towns were established across the country. These communities represented far more places to live. They were intentionally acts of self-determination, created to secure safety, land ownership, political participation, and economic independence in the face of violent backlash and systemic exclusion throughout the South. As Reconstruction unfolded and then rescinded, many foundational Black Americans recognized and controlling land, local governance was essential to true freedom. Some migrated westward in search of opportunity, while others organized collectively to purchase land and form planned communities. Oklahoma became the most concentrated hub of these towns, with over 50 established and at least 13 still surviving today. Texas followed closely, with hundreds of freedom colonies, rural settlements founded by formerly enslaved families determined to live beyond the reach of plantation power structures. These towns were not temporary encampments. They were structured municipalities with functioning governments and thriving economies. Major all-Black towns founded after the Civil War. Boley, Oklahoma, often regarded as the most prominent of all Black towns. Boley became a national symbol of Black enterprise. In 1908, Booker T. Washington praised it as the most enterprising and in many ways the most interesting Black town in the nation. With banks, businesses, and railroad connection, Boley demonstrated the commercial capacity of foundational Black Americans when allowed space to develop. Other historical towns: Taft, Rittonsville, Langston, Clearview, Brooksville, Grayson, Lima, Redbird, Summit, Tatum's, Tallahassee, Vernon, formed a powerful regional network. These towns supported farms, schools, churches, and local industries, proving that cooperative economics could sustain entire municipalities. Nicodemus, Kansas, one of the most surviving Black towns in the United States. Nicodemus was founded during the westward migration of formerly enslaved people seeking land ownership. Despite harsh environmental conditions, its founders persisted, making it a lasting testament to endurance and collective vision. Allensworth, California, founded by Lieutenant Colonel Allen Allensworth. This town was designed as a self-sufficient community grounded in education, civic leadership, and economic advancement. It attracted families eager to build a future free from the racial restrictions common elsewhere. DeWitt, Nebraska, known for its productive farmland, DeWitt thrived in the early 1900s as an agricultural center. Residents demonstrated strong cooperative practices, helping one another cultivate land and establish stability in challenging prairie environment. Hobson City, Alabama, recognized as one of the first incorporated Black municipalities in Alabama. Hobson City represented political organization as well as economic progress, providing residents with a measure of control over local policy. Freedmen's Towns, Houston, Texas, established by formerly enslaved people in Houston's 4th Ward. Freedmen's Town became a cultural and economic anchor. Brick streets laid by residents themselves symbolized permanence and pride in community craftsmanship. Planned foundations. Many towns were deliberately organized before settlers arrived. Founders mapped streets, designed land for schools and churches, and established government structures. Infrastructure and institutions, post office, newspapers, banks, schools, businesses were common. These towns often functioned as commercial hubs for surrounding rural populations. Agricultural strength. Farming anchored many local economies, allowing families to build generational wealth through land ownership, something long denied under slavery. Education and faith. Schools and churches were central pillars, reflecting a collective belief that literacy, training, and moral leadership were essential to long-term advancement. The decline and survival. Despite their promise, many of these towns faced relentless challenges: racial terror, discriminatory policy, economic isolation, resource deprivation undermined growth. Some communities were destroyed outright through violence. Others declined as railroads shifted routes or industries moved elsewhere. Morrisonville, Louisiana, stands as a later example of environmental racism, forcing residents from their land. Today, only about 30 of these historic towns remain. And the legacy of all of this, the story of these settlements is a powerful reminder that foundational Black Americans did not merely survive emancipation, they engineered functioning societies. These towns reflected strategic planning, entrepreneurship, and deep commitment to collective progress. Their legacy challenges incomplete narratives about Black dependency by documenting a long tradition of institution building, land stewardship, and civic leadership. At a time when freedom was uncertain, these communities provided that ownership, organization, and vision. A people could construct thriving centers of economic and social life from the ground up. And let me just say this. That is the reason why they are halting our reparation, because they know not only will we outpace them, we will outpace the world, just as we did in the beginning. And some of these towns still remain today. They are not as thriving as they once were. And one of the things I always said, when that bread come in, I'm going to these small towns, because it is an economic opportunity like never before. They can become the new Black Silicon Valleys if cultivated properly.
Boley, Oklahoma, was founded in 1903 by African-American settlers, many of whom were formerly enslaved people seeking freedom and prosperity. Supported by the Fort Smith and Western Railroad, Boley quickly flourished, boasting banks, schools, and businesses. By 1911, it was one of the largest all-Black towns in the U.S., a beacon of Black self-governance and success. However, discriminatory banking laws, railroad closures, and the Great Depression crippled its economy. Systemic racism blocked loans and investment, leading to Boli's decline by the 1940s, erasing much of its former vibrancy.
Boli was once the crown jewel of all of the black towns of Oklahoma. Booker T. Washington came to Boli, Oklahoma twice and deemed it the finest black town in the world. And Booker T. Washington had literally been all around the world. Boli, its significance in commerce, its significance in education, parallels no other black town in the nation. Boli had a railroad. Unlike Langston, Taft, Tatum's, Boli had a main artery of commerce, very similar to a city being online or offline today. It was vital that this city with a railroad line become the pulse of black Oklahoma. Boli is just a remnant of what it once was. But what is so great about it today, that the people of this small community refuse to let this town die.
So just some history, and I hope you all learn something. Do a little bit more research. They know that we are a force to be reckoned with. We will make something out of nothing. And I would love to make these small towns the next Black Silicon Valley. So give me my bread, and it's up and it's stuck. It's up and it's stuck. I would encourage all of you to look closely at some of these small towns. When you're on these social media lives and platforms, and you get these immigrants who come and say they built something, or they get it out the mud. They came with nothing, and they started a business. You didn't face what we faced. You still don't face what we face. You came to benefit of what was done to us. And I will never give up that narrative for no goddamn body. I don't care who gets offended by it. Because the more you know, the more you get pissed off. The more you get pissed off, the more you want to fight. And with that, Brother Divine, your final thoughts and commentary. Let's get the people up out of here.
Man, I just want to go back a little bit to the videos, because a lot has been played since.
Sure. Take your time, brother. Rock out.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to just talk about the Shabozo comments and what happened with him. And it's, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but we have to put the blame squarely where it belongs. And for me, the what I call a religion, the religion of Pan-Africanism, has been at the foundation of what has ailed our community when we try to accurately identify what is being brought in that harms us. As we could see, at the same time that they were being, that they, like that video said, with the right hand, they gave us all the quote unquote civil rights. And with the left hand, they took them away with immigration. And we had stalwarts before that Hart-Celler Act and after that told us about it. Whether we talk about the Frederick Douglasses and the A. Philip Randolphs, or the Barbara Jordans, Dr. Claude Anderson, and the Coretta Scott Kings. They all talked about how left-wing white supremacy, the Fox, was using and weaponizing immigration, Afro-immigrants included, against us. And it was a clear message because we understood how hard we worked and what was destroyed, understanding that it was not for our own doing. Not because we were lazy or didn't have the capacity to build these things. We knew that these communities had been intentionally targeted and destroyed. So when other white immigrants came in, we knew that they were an extension of the system of white supremacy. When we saw Afro immigrants coming in and being propped up, we were like, hey, you know what? It looks like this is the evolution of the system of white supremacy. They're taking and bringing in now immigrants that look like us and elevating them. And Pan-Africanism came in and said, wait, whoa, 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 not so fast. That's not what's happening. These Afro immigrants are you. In the words of Steve Harvey, and I can't do the imitation, I can't do the voice, but he said, them Africans are y'all. And that is what the religion of Pan-Africanism threw onto our communities. At the same time, we had titans and icons trying to tell us, wait, no, 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 no. They look like us, but they still are a part of the system of white supremacy being brought in to undermine you. And it took us this long to unravel the mess and to see, oh, shoot, Barbara Jordan was right. Coretta Scott King was right. Dr. Claude Anderson has been right for the last 30 plus years. Frederick Douglass was right. A. Philip Randolph was correct. When they said Garvey must go, it was prophetic. And so what has happened since then is that we had to learn a lesson the hard way. And it's okay. Because now that makes this foundational Black American Renaissance that much more powerful. And when we get a Shabozo that speaks his heart, right? Speaks what's on the mind of way too many Afro immigrants that come into this country. And you get the Pan-African sleeper cells that are defending what he said and defending the second thing he said, which was supposed to be an apology, but was more cosplay. Then you start to understand why this movement is getting so strong so quickly. And you start to see how nefarious Pan-Africanism has been for our community. Does Pan-Africanism help the Caribbean? That's for them to decide. Does Pan-Africanism help the continent itself? That's for them to decide. And those conversations, unfortunately, get conflated when we're assessing, does Pan-Africanism work for foundational Black Americans? And to that, it's a resounding no. But then we get these other outside groups that will say, well, it works for me. So that means it works for you because we're all Black, like Shabuzi said. And then we start to find out that all quote unquote Black is not the same. A foundational Black American proverb, or skin folk ain't kinfolk. And our kinfolk knew that for a very long time and didn't say that for no reason. So we're starting to see the wisdom of the past catch up to the reality of the present. And so when we see these things play out, and I think, you know, you asked the question, Black, and I want to ask before I address it. What did you mean when you said about Tariq going to synagogue? Can I get some clarity on that? Because you kind of cut out.
Yeah, I froze up at that time. I had put the link in the private chat, and then I was hoping Sister Keisha could play even just a few seconds of it later on before we get out of here, if she wants to. But if not, you can see it in the private chat. I dropped it in Jasmine's and excuse me, I apologize. I dropped it in Brooks and Sister Keisha's inbox as well. So you'll get it one way or another, unless you want to inbox me directly at Basil Medina on Facebook.
No, I'm not worried about this video. What was the question you asked? You asked the question.
Yeah, well, like I said, the
very
video there. She's gonna show it right now.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm chilling in Senegal right now. At first, I thought it might have been AI or a joke because I didn't really think this was true until I actually went and looked at the actual page. And indeed, there is Tariq Nasheed. And here is further evidence.
But this warthog is looking at me like he about to charge. This warthog warthogs like back your ass up. Back up. Oh, okay, let me get the hell on. All right.
Of course, you had people who were very happy that Tariq Nasheed visited Senegal. But of course, understanding hashtag FBA, not only as a lineage, but some of the ideology that surrounds the lineage, you had many people out there who were really quick to criticize.
So say it ain't so, man. Tariq Nasheed is in Senegal right now. And before y'all start lying in the comment section, y'all FBA is talking about, well, who said he can't go to Senegal, right? Everyone's free to travel. He can go to Africa if he wants to. That don't mean he gotta be African. I don't want to hear that shit. Y'all done spent a whole year talking about, oh, Africa's a wasteland. Why would anybody travel over there? Ain't nothing over there. We ain't got no business being over there. And now the leader of the FBA movement,
I gotta stop that first before the Devon go in.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, I guess
this is some Pan-African BS. You know, two, you can't be a leader of a lineage, and I'm so sick of you mother effers saying that.
And he ain't FBA.
I'm so sick of it. Nobody can be a lineage leader. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But again, people grasping for straws because this is something you can't belong to because y'all so used to leaning. Now we straightening up our backs and say, get off. Get off. Stop leaning on me. Go fight your fight. Get out of my business and let me fight my fight. But y'all don't want to do that. That's why you have in Black History Month for Black Americans, everybody trying to grandfather onto that too. Sister Marcy is here, and her lineage is from a lineage of fighters in Haiti. I don't try to grandfather onto that. I admire the fight and what they did. You don't hear me saying, yep, that's me too. I don't have lecturing engagements where I try to lean on somebody else's legacy. But you can't stop the other diaspora for doing that. Even in the clip I played, why Bashar is mentioning Harriet Tubman? Why she not talking about Antoya? Still leaning, goddammit. I know Uncle Jesse want me to calm down, but they be pissing me off, Unc. That's why I want to play it, Black. Leave me the hell alone. Go ahead, Brother Devon.
But before I finish and give my submission on that, I know you won't ever do it because it's going to feel like cheap publicity or cheap promotion. But can you play your segment from the Caribbean Corner where you said exactly what you just said in real time? Because that's going to help me. That's going to help me get through my submission. So I'm requesting for you to play that amazing clip by one of our master teachers, Sister Keisha Forrester, and she spoke truth to power in real time. So can we get that?
You requested the last clip and she got at me.
This is a new clip.
He's a troublemaker. He's from the Bronx. We got, this is just wild. You know what I mean? This is just wild. Hold on, Brother Devon.
Yes.
Y'all want us to chill? You gotta chill too. I got you, brother. I got you. You would qualify because you do have a line that goes back to the enslavement in this country. If you don't, go elsewhere and appeal your claim. Stop leaning on, and that's the problem with Pan-Africanism. You all have been leaning on our legacy for so long. You don't know how to stand on your own.
I don't necessarily. That's absolutely not true. Hold on.
I said what I said.
Hold on, everybody.
Go ahead, Brother Devon.
Cool, thank you. I needed that. Nothing quite feels the same as being there in person and getting a chance to experience that, but also participate in speaking truth to power, online and offline. But one of the most powerful things that you said in that clip is, I said what I said. And this is what the diaspora is learning in real time. We've said what we've said. There's no need to repeat it. It's not up for debate. And so I'm not going to sit here and say that Brother Black is asking a question in bad faith. I wouldn't accuse him of that. But what I'm saying is that that entire premise is bad faith. That's why he said, I don't want to hear about we're able to go and travel anywhere. Because the bottom line is that we are able to travel and go
anywhere. And bring our behind right back home.
You know what I'm going to do this week and any week I feel like it, and I've said this before, go get me some oxtail, peas, and rice and still delineate. You know what I had around New Year's? Soup de joumou, and I still delineate. I will go to a bashment and get a dub to my favorite reggae song and still delineate. I will go get some arroz con pollo and still delineate. I will travel to your country if I so choose and still delineate. You want to know why? Because our delineation has never been about hateration. The reason why y'all are so triggered is because you know that you were delineated from us from the beginning because of your hatred, your jealousy, your anti-Black American bigotry, and your need to be better than us to the powers that be. And so your movements are built out of hatred for foundational Black Americans. Ours is not. That's why pointing to our icons of the past and saying, oh, but so-and-so was a Pan-African, duh. Black Americans have never been about the possibility of global Black unity based on melanin. Never. But you know we never also been a part of? Pretending that we African. Pretending that America is not our homeland. Pretending that we need to go back home, quote unquote. Never in mass have we ever been subscribed to that ideology. And to what that brother said in that bad faith clip. Because he said the ideology around FBA. What's the ideology around Jamaicans? What's the ideology around Haitians or Nigerians? See, they have to frame it in a bad faith picture because without it, they don't have a leg to stand on. Mm-hmm. The entire argument starts to fall apart before it ever begins. So they have to forewall it. It's a white supremacist tactic. Remember the Black identity extremists? Y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. That was to frame anybody that was talking about Black empowerment as a member of some type of group or nefarious organization. This is what the Afro immigrants are doing today. And the reason why they're doing is because what Sister Keisha said so eloquently in that clip. If you don't have us to lean on, you have to stand on your own. And they don't stand on their own. Like Sister Brooks said, y'all have abandoned the homestead. Who does that and then demands respect? Who does that and then try to be compared to the greatest fighters of justice that the world has ever known, the Foundation of Black Americans? You ain't in my class. And I will still delineate after saying that too. Like, we got to start understanding what's happening and what's not happening. And unfortunately, this delineation movement has exposed that Pan-Africanism not only is a tool of left-wing white supremacy, but it is our biggest op in this fight for foundational Black American autonomy. So when people say, oh, you got so much smoke for Shabuzi and no smoke for the white supremacists. No, wrong, you idiot. We didn't make you become another Hydra head on the animal of white supremacy. So now we got to target both of y'all. We are targeting white supremacy and all of its foot soldiers, melanated or not melanated. Whatever flavor you want to put on. And so when we say that we have smoke for them, is because white supremacy is using you and weaponizing you, like our icons of the past always knew. And so we said what we said. This is the new normal. You could cry about it, you can hate it, you can love it, you could get out, or you could lay down. The bottom line is that this is what it is, and you can't stop it. That's it. Now that's up to you to cope or cry about. Or you can finally become the ally that you claimed you always been and said, you know what, I'm going to help you delineate because I know once y'all get to where y'all going, because of who y'all have always been, you will help us get to where we're going. That's also a possibility. For some strange reason, the same Pan-Africans that claim to want to unite everybody globally based on melanin never choose that option. I wonder why that is. Why is that? Why is that never their battle cry to say, you know what? Damn, they're all going to delineate. Let's figure out how we can use it to our advantage so we can still build global melanated unity. Is it because the ideology was never formed to create global melanated unity? I'll let y'all decide that. My mind is already made up. And this will be the last thing I say. Now, even with more information at my disposal, learning at the feet of our sister Keisha, we find out that guess what? There was a foundational Black American that wasn't looking abroad, that wasn't looking to do Pan-Africanism, that started what has now become Black, quote unquote, Black History Month. And in my opinion, this is foundational Black American History Month because guess what? That's where it's observed. It was practiced since 1926 when there was damn near no Afro immigrants in sight. Do you know prior to 1965, compared to the total population, the amount of Afro immigrants was to the right of the decimal point as a percentage? So how in the world could we have been talking about you, celebrating anything that has to do with you, and you weren't here? But not only that, you petitioned your representatives in our political structures to have a Caribbean Heritage Month in June. There was a Caribbean American Heritage Month in June. There is a National African Immigrant Heritage Month in September. So this is where I land for my Pan-Africans that claim that they're not a tool of left-wing white supremacy. If we're all the same, and we already had a Black History Month, why, pray tell, did you need your own month? Is it because you already knew that Black didn't apply to you? And that you wanted your own month outside of the month that's supposed to be for all of us? Happy Foundational Black American History Month, y'all.
Man, don't play with President Divine. Don't play. And you say, now I'm gonna have to hear from the family, President Divine, on tomorrow. You know, he be causing a lot of trouble, him and Brooke, when the Friday night family calls. And you too, Marcia, be causing a whole lot of trouble when the family calls. That I got to sit through. Love my family, love my family, love my family. But they do know. A lot of them do know. Let me play this script. Shout out to Brother Foundational American. Follow him on TikTok.
The division is between, let's say, Black Americans and Africans right now.
So generally, Black Americans, not until recently, Black Americans have been the biggest supporters of the progress of Africa. For Africa to be able to do well, they have always been. When people come out of Africa, when a particular person, say in any capacity, trying to make a difference, Black Americans have always amplified such individuals. Even as recently as the young man from Burkina Faso, you can clearly see if you go to IG, it was Black Americans trying to give a voice. Most Africans, especially the ones that live in diaspora, they don't give a damn. So Black Americans have always been at the forefront of trying to get Africa work. All right, they were the inspiration that gave rise to the independence in Africa. It was their leaders that inspired all the Kwame Nkrumah, all the people that you see revolted in their various places. It was Black Americans' inspiration. Now, why did Black Americans do that? They felt that these people who share the same melanin, because it is only normal, it's only reasonable to say, hey, these ones that belong on the other continent, that share the same melanin, it's only normal to say, hey, you're not doing so well. I want to encourage you to do well. Now they began to inspire Africa. They began to all the fights that they fought in America was to ensure that Africa can at least find way to come and become a natural allies with them. Those were the vision. But at the end of the day, you see people coming over to the America rather than being natural allies to these people that supported you, that gave you light. You became adversary to them. You joined the real enemy. You want to please the enemy against them. So that this is the origin of the animosity. And even as far back as 10, 15 years ago, Black Americans were not showing their discontent towards Africans. They were not. It was only recently, because Africans became far more emboldened in their assertiveness. They became quite insulting. They became quite abusive. They became condescending. Imagine coming into a space, disrespecting the natives, trying to please the real enemy, joining them, thinking is a competition. This was what resulted to them. They began to speak up because the thing became too much, and then they had to. Anybody would. It became so obvious that anybody would clearly see it. Then they began to speak up. So the idea of delineation has to happen, because clearly people who are supposed to be natural allies are joining the enemy. So why wouldn't you delineate from them? So they don't understand alliance. It doesn't make sense to them. None of this makes sense to them. So the idea of alliance became a thing, and it has to happen, because that's the only way people can now begin to take accountability. That is the only way accountability can step in. Because without delineation, you can see somebody who is from Somalia. He'll be saying, oh, you're punishing me. You're trying to send me out of America because I am black. No, you're not. You are Somalian. You committed fraud. You came in with nothing. You're stealing everything. Now you're trying to say you're black, just to run behind it, and then have all of us as a target. No, you are the target. You caused the problem. So these are some of the things that we must critically look at. Delineation is very, very, very important. That way we can see what each group is bringing to the table. Not running and using other people's identity, running behind other people's identity to act like, because most of these people, when they come back home here on the continent, they begin to call themselves Black Americans. Some of them pose, they try to look down upon some of us, because they come. These are some of it. That's why we need delineation, so that you know who you are right from the onset. So that you if you can't do something to improve where you come from, then the shame is upon you. Then that is what we want. We need delineation. Very, very important. Thank you.
All right. My next question is.
No. You can't hide that. Hold on. You can't hide that. You can't just hide that. Hold on. I gotta let. That's not nothing you just gonna jump on real quick and just, that's something you gotta let marinate for a minute. Hold on. This brother gets it.
So if you want to get in on these live conversations, please follow me with Thorough Black Talk on TikTok. So when these conversations take place, I can send them to you. They happen all throughout the day. So when these live take place, if you want to listen for yourself, what goes on and hear the frustration too of FBA at the same time, like the African dude said, we didn't just start this. All my years in working within Pan-Africanism, nobody ever had a space talking about how the diaspora treats us politically and socially, and they still don't. The only reason why they having spaces now is because we're the narrative, and you want to debunk the narrative. That's why I said what I said at that space with my full chest. Those same people said, well, we're going to show up at the reparations hearing and we're going to speak on your behalf. I ain't seen none of you suckers yet. None of you. You're a liar and a leaner. Sister Brooke, are you ready for your final thoughts and commentary?
Yes, I'm ready. I want to start by repeating something that I also said, that I said at that conversation. Something that I learned from the Haitian Revolution, right? From our, if you want to say distant cousins, if you know what I'm saying, our Haitian family over there. When they started their revolution, they, what's the word can I use? Took out permanently the Black collaborators first. They took them out permanently, gave them all permanent dirt naps. We haven't given anybody a permanent dirt nap yet. All we have done is say you can't speak for us because you are not us. So if you respect your revolution, you cannot say anything about how we decide to delineate. And then I want to go on to, we were talking about Black History Month and the fact that it is for us, by us. It is up to no one else to hop on the train and then insert your people. Shirley Chisholm is not, we're not celebrating Shirley Chisholm for Black History Month. We're not celebrating Marcus Garvey for Black History Month. We're not doing it. It is for us to recognize our accomplishments on this land. I put up on my Twitter where they tried to put up with Jean Pierre, celebrate her as the first Black, speaker. Our open enemy. And why is she our open enemy? Because she sat right there at that podium in the structure in the White House that we built. Literally and figuratively. And said that she dismissed, she objected, she made fun of our birthright of reparations here in this country. So there's no way in hell we are going to celebrate her for Black History Month. She is the first Haitian woman to be in the White House. And y'all take that and eat that. because she ain't us. And we not accepting her or praising her or celebrating her for Black History Month. In my opinion, for me, because I'm a F everybody in your family type of person. F you, your mama, your kids, your grandmama, and your white bitch. Because that's who she lays up with at night. A white woman. Now, I'm going to... I can hear somebody. I think that's Keisha.
Y'all say I'm crazy. What's going on here?
So that's who she laid up with. Now we're gonna go to Shabozo, real quick. First of all, when Sister Keisha was talking about him at the only one to put on a dress, did you see how he was dressed at the Grammys? He looked like the church pastor's wife. He had the hat to the side with the tight pantsuit on. You are here looking very feminine. And if that's how you swing, that's how you swing. But once again, this is why they are giving you awards and not giving our masculine, foundational Black American men who created the genre awards. You want to play before I go on?
Immigrants built this country, literally. Actually, so this is for them, for all children of immigrants. This is also for those who came to this country in search of better opportunity to be a part of a nation that promised freedom for all and equal opportunity to everyone willing to work for it. Thank you for bringing your culture, your music, your stories, and your traditions here. You give America color. I love y'all so much. Thank you.
We already talked about who built the country, so I don't even have to go on that. But people were sitting there talking about how we are creating problems because we want to delineate from him and correct him in what he said. No, he said it on us. The second he opened his mouth and said that immigrants built. See, that's the thing. Y'all don't understand. See, again, brother, President Devine talks about movies. I talk about cartoons. When he sat on that stage, essentially he was Bugs Bunny with the white glove. And he slapped us all with the white glove. And we are responding to that slap. And we're going to take him down and show him who really created the genre that he is cosplaying in. Then he talked about how his mom was a nurse. And President Devine went into detail about how immigrant nurses have been used to remove us from a field of study that we were so good at, that we created the Freedman School of Nursing, that then turned into the School of Nursing at Howard University. How they initially used Filipino nurses, and now we see that they are using Nigerian nurses. Then I want to say one thing, and then I got 2 points, and I'm done. If you are really our friend and our ally, you would do as my Nigerian friend told me when she explained to me for the first time, this is almost 10 years ago now, that Nigerians sold us and drugged us before they handed us over to their friends, the white supremacists, their friends, bedfellows, and business partners, the white supremacists. She told me right after she told me the truth, and I began to cry as a true friend. She told me, Stop focusing on Africa. You are not African. Your people are from South Carolina and from Louisiana and from this land. Carry the dirt from where your people are from with you always, because this is your land. That is an ally. And I'm going to say one last thing. See, a lot of people are upset with Shabuzi or Shabubu, Shabozo, Shabuki. I thank him. Thank you so much, Idiot, for doing what you did. You know why? Because you took a conversation that was happening online and you put it on the international stage for all foundational Black Americans to see and hear in real time. And you know what you did by doing that? You have created less Pan-Africanists. You have created less Democrats. Better than anything I could ever say. I can't convince my people better than what you did on that Grammy stage, Shaboki. Because our people saw that, heard that, and now they understand where we're coming from. So Democrats, Pan-Africanists, Nigerians, Shabuki Shabozos, keep going. Because our numbers that are coming to the movement, because if you're a foundational Black American, whether you're in the delineation movement or not, to those that are foundational Black Americans, they don't have to be in the delineation movement. They don't have to be with it to be foundational Black American. Their lineage is their lineage. But you are pushing the other foundational Black Americans who still believed in Pan-Africanism, who still believed in the Democratic Party. You are pushing them to the movement of delineation faster than any words that I can say. And I appreciate that. And keep talking. Just let them talk. Let them keep talking. You know why? Because they're so self-righteous. They are so self-centered that they will talk their way out of the country. I love it. It was delicious watching you tank your own career in the genre that we built. Send those emails, family. The link is bit.ly/BREUCK call to action. Yes, the arrogance. I'm looking at the chat. The arrogance. Let that arrogance fuel you to send emails. Let that feel that arrogance. I tell President Devon all the time that I am fueled by righteous anger. It makes me write better. It makes me speak better. The angrier I am, the more eloquent I speak. And I think you guys have seen that at these hearings. Or that I write. I'm better at writing when I'm angry because I got time to, take out the cuss words.
Light that fire, sis. Light it up.
Let that anger get your thumbs to go and send the emails. Get your mama to send the emails because she mad now too because she saw my mama's mad. She saw it. Yo, auntie mad now too. Get her to send it. Remember before she didn't want to send it before because she didn't really understand what was going on? Have her send it now. Show her the shabuzi. Have her send it now. You remember your auntie who's a starch Democrat? She saw that shabuzi. She pissed off right now. Send her the link. This is the iron is hot. It is time. It is hot for the striking. It is time for us to delineate. The ancestors have made everything this is the opportune time. Everybody is, come on now, they are singing. Do it. Do it. Do it. And as you know, President Devine said earlier, with the delineation, we're going to delineate whether we eat the what. I'm going to go back to my kid references. I will delineate on a plane. I will delineate with green eggs and ham. I will delineate on a train. I will delineate anywhere. So send those emails, and you can send, as a matter of fact, you could send those emails from anywhere. You don't have to be in New York. You don't have to be in New Jersey. You don't have to be in the tri-state. You don't have to be in Connecticut. You could be from anywhere. And you can send these emails. So send there's 5 emails. I'm not going to take up the time by going through all 5, but the links are there. Just go to the bit.ly/BREUCK call to action and send every single email there. Each one, we showed you last week that it takes less than 15 seconds to send one email, and there are 5 of them. So make sure you send all 5, because make sure you send that one to Kathy Holcomb too, because you see, she is trying to cover up her crimes with a Black counterpart. Her crimes against the lineage. And we won't let that happen. So send her emails, fill up her inbox so she could know that we're not fooled by Adrian Adams. Okay? And I'll land there. Thank you so much, Sister Keisha, again, for allowing us to sit at your feet and learn. I every week, it's like that emoji with the head explosion. Every week is, and I just appreciate being a part of this. And thank you so much.
I appreciate y'all. You and Brother Divine, the U.S. Freedmen's Project, and all of you who have led this delineation movement, who are striking, as Brooke said, while the iron is hot, and setting off a storm. Because not only is Shabuzi in trouble, so is TMZ, so is ABC News, so is CNN and CBS News. Because each time they post on X with the wrong flag, trying to grandfather everybody into it, we cut them off at the knees. We are cutting them off at the knees. And I appreciate y'all for stepping up, taking on this huge fight. Because like I said, when I met Brooke, I'm not with the shits. And I don't got time for foolishness. I done seen too much. And I've been around too much. So it ain't up and up. Miss me with it. But I am proud of Generation X, Millennials, and Gen Zs who were on board and taking this fight. So all you old cats, either you get on board or shut up. And because I am of a particular age, I can tell you that. Brother Black, and then we'll go to Sister Marcia. Brother Black, your final commentary.
You better not talk to Sister Brooke like that, because she's the oldest one here. So, you have some respect, young lady. Anyway, anywho, something that none of y'all brought up today that I thought would come up eventually, but it didn't. I'm going to bring it up. I'm not going to be too long because we way over time. But I don't know if you heard on the same show that we're talking about with Shabozo or Shanae or whatever their name is. that Ramsey Noah said that that Trump was on
Trevor
Epstein Island.
Noah. Trevor Noah.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of somebody else. Trevor Noah said that Trump was on Epstein Island, which is a lie. He's never been there. He put out a letter stating that he's going to sue him and the network for putting that out. Even the mainstream media never put it out. What they said about Trump, which is a fact, is that he flew on the Lolita Express, which is that plane that took most of those people to Epstein Island. But the case was he was in his Mar-a-Lago estate and his plane was in the shop. He talked to Jeffrey. He said, "Hey, man, I'm going to New York for the weekend. I'll see you when I get back." And Epstein was like, "Yeah, no, I'm going up there too. When you going?" He said, "I'm leaving now. I got to catch a commercial flight." He said, "I got my plane. We can ride together." And he wrote on that. So that's just to clear that up. For those of you who want to put him on the island, there's no evidence that he ever been on that island. It's a matter of context and syntax. So y'all need to get that right. So, Sister Keisha, when you say the things you say, believe me, I know where you're coming from because I've been doing what I've been doing for a long time. And I've never been approached to say, okay, you said this, because I can always give the reference for me to say without having to say alleged or supposedly or what have you, that this is true because I got it from somewhere. And I'm just going to leave it with that. With that said, just watch out for the distractions because I believe that's what's really happening. These solar flares, I'm going to say it again, and the Schumann resonance is popping. If you don't know what it is and you don't know how to spell it, I'm not going to go through that. Say it in Google, in your Siri or whatever, word application you're using, and just get it popping from there, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All that is near. We don't give dates out, so I'm not going to go into the timing and so on and so forth. But if you're a feeling person, you feeling these things. And it's just going to go on from there. And like I said, we are going to inherit the land wherever we from with melanin because we were the first here and we're going to be the last. With that said, I'm going to just end the show here on my segment. Pass it to my sister Marcia, wing gal, I call her affectionately. And we see y'all on the bridge next week. Peace.
Thank you, family, for another spirited conversation. The ancestors are always in the room, sharing their knowledge and wisdom through us. I'd like to say to Shabuzi and any other quote-unquote celebrity who has never been part of an organization does not stand for an organization. And I think that's one of the parts of things that we don't understand. There are people that are in organizations who are working on behalf of correcting wrongs of organizations. And there are people that just spew things out of their mouth because they've never been educated. And again, if you're in this U.S. educational system and you don't have an exterior tier of education, then you will always speak as Dave taught you. And many people, especially from outside of the U.S., are getting their education about the U.S. only through the schoolings, K through 12 or 12 to, college, grad school, whatever. If you're not focusing on this type of information, you're not going to get it. And you're going to say things that's going to upset the people, the foundational people of this country. So again, I don't claim to say anything good nor bad, because even from the time that he came out the gate, I was like, I questioned this brother and his antics, but my people were loving him, and I was just like, okay, I'm a supporter, whatever. But it is what it is. And again, I'll continue to encourage us to get educated. Look, for so many years, all I knew was Carter G. Woodson. And here comes Sister Keisha with a new name, Bruce, Mr. Bruce. There is legacy, and we all can't unearth all the names, but if we have a community like this that is doing the unearthing, we can correct our wrongs. But if we don't have it, and if we don't become part of communities so that we can correct wrongs and build and grow in a conscious way, then it is what it is. And too many people outside of the diaspora who are here in America are unconscious to either their homeland or the home that they're living in right now. So all of that, I will say, may time flourish. And if time can't flourish for you, you fight with that. You tell time that I'm wielding you on my behalf, the growth of me and my family, because you are the manifester of anything that you want. And I bid you a great week. Stay warm if you're in New York. I can't even say it because I'll be freezing sometimes trying to go outside. But stay warm if you're in New York. And if you're not, I hope you're in warm sun. Even Texas is cold right now. I was talking to a friend that's in Texas. They're cold. So I don't know. Just bundle up and be Gucci and make time flourish. And if just keep making it flourish. Fight with that. Sister Brooke, Brother Divine, Brother Pratt, thank you very much. Sister Keisha, as always, we'll see each other.
Definitely. And Sister Marcia says, stay warm. You back to the hoodies and the fleece sweatpants. Because it's about to be brick all over again. Shout out to Brother Tad, who wasn't able to make it on. Please catch the OG Wisdom podcast every night. And you may catch me on there a few nights. You never know what's going to go down. We did a whole expose last night. So if you missed it, you missed it. But of course, the link to everybody's contacts is in the description. You can reach out to any one of us for more information. But shout out to Sister Candace. If you on TikTok, you know. If you don't, oh well.
What's up, y'all? So a podcaster melting down is not going to stop delineation. You can't rock us back to sleep, even if you tried. We're on to it. Just a reminder, delineation is a rational response to historical cycles of violence and harm to our lineage. It's restorative, not divisive. Anyway, keep delineating. Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey, y'all. Happy Black American History Month. And I decided to focus in on the word American because I noticed during Black History Month, a lot of companies and brands tend to highlight and give brand deals to first and second generation immigrants with the same skin tone. And I think that those brand deals and sponsorships should go to Black American people because we are descendants of the people that fought the civil rights movement. And if you know anything about the civil rights movement, it paved the way for everyone because Black Americans didn't just fight racism. We also fought the U.S. government to change policy, law, and culture. You're welcome.
So, enjoy the rest of your week. Try to learn a little bit more about what you've heard tonight. Do your own research. Shout out again to Sister Tanisha for being the sponsor of this week's broadcast. Sis, I just emailed you 2 PowerPoints for your contribution. And if you want to contribute to Thorough Black Talk, excuse me, hit the Cash App and I might send you a PowerPoint. If you send us via the Cash App, put in your email address or hit me on any social media platform, the email address, and I'll make sure you get the PowerPoints for this evening's presentation and last week's with the Office of the New American. So, y'all have a good week. Y'all stay safe, stay out of trouble, but be dangerous at the same time. We from Brooklyn. That's how we move, baby. We out. Good night, y'all.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, force is strong, knowledge tight. Thorough Black Talk in the air. Change changing minds, changing flair. From brother Tad to sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves,